recording ready, and
You may do the intro.
I do it if I remember what session it was. 4 was cursed, so this is 5, yeah? Perfect. We're gonna call it session 5 in case it's one number up. It's gonna make us look better. So welcome to session 5, guy. Of the Ageless Accolade.
That's another one for ST Bingo. Doesn't know what session it is.
I'm becoming you, Chris. So, previously on Ageless Accolade Z, we had incidents. We had a case that was one, and somebody's getting a fur coat, a fur cloak rather, that is pretty fancy, and a lot of other escapades. Oh god. But
So is this the beach episode or?
uh,
Just
No,
give
not
the
him.
word
No,
Nyaxi, and that Toreador bitch is gonna start sprouting
Yeah.
arrows.
this is what we call the plot hook episode, because it's time. So, since we all kind of finished about 2 to 3 nights before, so in those 2 to 3 nights, as you guys are still going about your daily work, your daily jobs, or daily just life, however you want to go for about it, there's much more of a presence as well. Like, it wasn't as noticeable as it was a week before, but it's starting to become much more noticeable, especially during the nighttime when you're obviously awake. People are starting to. Yes, I'm spiting crap. People are starting to gather upon the streets much more. Whenever you go on a walk, you seem to notice, there's a lot more stalls on the main street. There seems to be a lot more people, a lot more beggars as well that are noticeable. Security guards seem to be a bit more active than before. But this all seems in line as a little bit of tidbits here and there that, besides the whole party that the kindred will be having for the tournament, there seems to also be a small little planned festival for the mortals that seems to be going on during the daytime, either as a ruse or a bit more pleasantries, maybe attracting more food to the plate, I suppose, can also be a way of determining this. But all in all, the streets are busy. And eventually, the night arrives, where a night before, actually, you also received a proper invitation letter for the citizens of Paris, telling you to arrive at around 9 p.m. at the castle. Obviously, Wait, did the bot not go out? Blessed. Obviously, the letter is much more decorated in very, very well written handwriting. Pleasantries of words, taking almost a year to get to the point. There seems to be a little bit of a smell to it about juniper berries and maybe a zest here of
I
other.
knew a woman from Helga that used to make mead with juniper berries.
But the night arrives. You guys have a bit of hours before that. In terms of how we're gonna do with blood, take with the blood you have right now, and well, fuck it. That's gonna be complicated math. Max -1. Let's get you ready for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have about maybe, depending on the roads and thugs, but approximately we're gonna say for everybody about 2 hours before the party to finish everything up or take the time to get ready or spruce up. Though the only exception being Francis and technically Severin, but Severin's running a little bit late. But Francis has a duty to arrive a bit earlier, about an hour earlier, in fact. But in the meantime, just before, does anybody want to finish something up or do something extremely quick or prepare for the upcomings?
Domhnall is gonna be in a full campaign mode, preparing the clothing, making sure that the musical instruments are properly tuned, etc. Just make sure that the image is at its best.
Yeah, putting on the putting on the cloak and looking at it again, it's like it feels a bit awe-inspiring. It's like, oh yeah, it's all coming together now. This is the image. It feels nice, in the inside it's a little bit comfy, a little bit leathery, but it works. It looks good. And outside, oh yeah, you can feel yourself. Equipment on, things. Are you bringing any sort of weaponry or?
Just a knife. I'm gonna leave the longbow at the house tonight.
All right. You take the time to ready up, and it does take you essentially a while, but you're ready to go. Francis, what would you like to do before the hour that you have?
It's not enough time. You have to choose between the outfit or the makeup. It's not enough time.
I'm gonna need you to roll, awake to awaken first.
No. I guess I get ready for the party.
All right. You take on you put the appropriate matching outfit that was sort of tailored and given to you as a preparation for this. Fits like a glove. And yeah, you mean you look inside, into a mirror of sorts, and it's like looking swanky. But you're ready to go. And just to finish off with Trablana, is there anything you'd like to do in the waiting period?
I have a question. Since we've skipped a few days, could I have, properly bloodbound that hooker
Okay.
in the meantime?
Okay. We can quickly go about it. How would you just want to go about it?
Clonk.
I mean, probably like, more kind of experiments and with like, another sip at the end. But
Okay.
probably not as gruesome as the first time. More like
Once you bloodbound her, she's gonna start bringing you other hookers and torturing them in front of you to earn your approval, to show you that she's just like you.
Okay.
that's beautiful.
All right. I'm going to say either. Let's go with manipulation, either empathy or subterfuge in this case, and give it to me at an 8. This is the blood bond is the level 1, and presumably that's going to happen is definitely helping, but there's still a point of a little bit of inner resistance, so to say.
Okay, that just means I need to spend a willpower point.
All right. With 3 successes, yeah, definitely. It takes a little bit of persuading. A little bit of more money needs to be spent as well. But don't worry about
Didn't you
it.
enjoy my bone?
But eventually, through a little bit of sly usage of words and a little bit of monetary value, you're able to convince her to come at least for one more try on the promise, I swear it won't be like that anymore. Okay, just so I can have a image in my head. Is this going on actual experiments or are you doing ERP?
Nah, this is like actual experiments, but like only like stuff that's not as important.
Here, lick
All
this
right.
skull.
Like putting it back a bit to for long-term gains.
All right. So, contrary to popular belief and her belief as well, it doesn't go as she would have expected it would have been repeated. So it's a little bit easier now, seeing that it's not just a play, it seems to be actual work to a degree. And definitely throughout the 2 nights, essentially, you're able to blood bond a low-level prostitute, essentially. I'll make the Schiefer later, but for the time being, put down a dot of retainers that you have successfully blood bonded a low-level prostitute.
I believe that this calls for a page out of Kaylin's book. She should have a total of 7 points of ability spread over 3 categories. It sounds about
Yeah.
right for her general life experience and status.
Blessed.
Okay.
Alright.
Now that I have that, I want to like stash my heavier like weapons, like my fucking pitchfork, I guess,
What the
Sure.
fuck?
and my sling, at the at like in a at like a place where she knows where it is, and tell her to work this night near the
God, this pitchfork
near
with your
the
life.
party, I guess. And when something happens, he's supposed to like meet me at a place outside of the outside of the outside of the party when he hears like some disturbances, like fighting noises or something like that.
Alright.
Well, usually
Sure.
the deal's up to her, but tell her to be careful.
I mean, yeah, no. Blood bonds being blood bonds, you definitely. She's armed. She's donned. It's not really appropriate. She's not very well
And,
nutritioned, so she's a bit on the skinny side. So
No, I don't want her to fight. I just wanted her to bring me my stuff.
I mean, yeah, but how are you gonna carry a pitchfork?
I mean, a pitchfork isn't that heavy.
No, it's just more of the symbolic, essentially. But no, it's
Like,
she
it's-
has it, but it's still a bit it's a bit weird looking. But considering the time and some of the
Yeah, I mean-
outwards villages, it works.
Yeah. I mean, she just has to have it, like, I'm gonna stash it essentially somewhere, and she like, can get it easily and fast.
All right.
That's like the idea behind it. I don't want her to like carry around a fucking pitchfork in the middle of the night. That's my
Right.
job. And
Gotcha.
considering it's a pitchfork, people will probably not steal it.
Hopefully. All right then. So, Francis, you're supposed to arrive an hour earlier. Presumably, you go, and you can see definitely, approaching the castle now. It's a bit more lit up, seeming to accentuate the walls to make the glory in the night feel a bit more livelier. And well, with the additional light, you can also see that there's also a bit more guards on duty all of a sudden. Now, mortal, Gould, some are, some aren't, depending on, but security is heavy. Though it doesn't take long as you're able to find one of the various schools around Ghoul guards that leads you in, and servants are running about, bringing this, bringing that. Things are going fast. Last minute preparations, it seems, or last hour preparations in this case. But remembering your path, you follow up and eventually arrive to the location that would be the sort of a banquet hall in this case, and it is large, mostly going lengthwise, but it does have a sizable sort of centerpiece that is much more in an oval shape, but definitely has enough room for the extravagances and appeal of dancing and stuff. In the back, you can see a large sort of throne essentially that's standing, and a table that is sort of going in an straight fashion, and then under that, almost like a tier under that, another longer and larger table piece essentially, with tables on the various sides, small candles sort of being placed around, torches up high to give some actual radiant light that is hopefully out of reach of anybody who's in trouble, who touches it accidentally. No, it is not the Oval Office. And definitely servants running around. You can even and as you enter, the doors already open, being prepared. You can see Margaret already there. Behind you, you can hear one of the other hosts approaching, essentially, and you can see Helen, the Queen Helen, essentially, sort of talking about with Margaret.
Wait. That's illegal.
And as you enter, essentially, she sort of glances to the left, sort of respects your sort of presence, and tells you, in a sort of a little bit of a louder voice due to all the clamoring that's sort of happening around. Francis, be a dear and come over here. We're talking about final preparations.
What a bitch. Yeah, I will.
Okay. You step forward. You present, bow, and things. The Queen looks at you. I'm glad you arrived, Francis. Now, we're waiting. We're hopefully everything goes just perfect for this night. However, for the full conversation about the, well, here they arrive. Come, come. And
You are
as you
in the
turn,
fucking
essentially,
doghouse. She knows and she's pissed. You are fucked, son. You are so fucked.
and the two other hosts essentially are arrive, and as you sort of make a small half circle in front of Helen. Well, this is it. The night has arrived. I am putting my trust into you four. Do as you rehearsed, and, well, don't make a mess. Now, as I've said before, align the guests accordingly. Each of you are going to have about a quarter of the table space that you're meant to keep an eye over. If some of you have still not understood the duty, think of yourselves as a very temporary, small peace holder, keeper of Elysium for the night.
She qualified that so very hard. Doesn't want you trust with any authority after what you've been doing.
Now, she sort of calls over a little servant, takes out, and it seems to be some form of parchment essentially. I've drawn out the plans and details, and she passes it to one host and passes around, and you can see sort of how the sort of set is where everybody's supposed to be sitting, with the obvious notion that noticing high clans are supposed to be closer to the prince and the important people, with the low clans being near the door. So the arrangement is going to be like this. For now, I've put your name next to each of them, and, well, that'll be in that case. Present yourself, escort them, one at a time. Remember to stay elegant, not rush it. And if another individual steps in at the same time, please adjourn them to wait for a moment for the escort, so that you may arrive and return with your duty. For the dance itself, of course, somebody rings on the fucking bell.
Okay, Naxi, so you're clear on what you need to do for me, right?
What?
See, sitting by the door doesn't really work for me or my ambitions. Nomads aren't a fucking high clan. Everyone's fucking afraid of them and or shitting on them, as is usual.
Max are a high clan, right?
No, I put a note, I believe, in the Paris handout, who is a high clan and who isn't. With high clans being Toreador, Ventrue, Somber, Cappadocians, Bruja, and Salubri. Now, To note as well, by the way, looking at the parchment things, your name was specified to be actually, what you look now is the most prestigious one, Francis. The one where the toreador and venturer are supposed to sit at. Now, there's a small little outcropping of salubri there, but you have a very, very keen position to take care of.
You know what you have to
Fuck,
do.
this is good.
Who's in charge of the Malkavians, Demi?
Well, the Malkavians are being camped by one of the others. The other two contenders that are less than you and Margaret are placed with the low clans. So Margaret has the rest of the high clans, essentially. In this case, one second.
There's Toreador that are even lesser than Margaret, oh god.
Sorry. With Margaret essentially having the Sombre, Cappadocians, and Bruja. It's a very weird table to sort of go with that, but that's the rest of the high clans that they need to be garnered for.
This is gonna be a very boring conversation if the guests aren't mixed together.
But she proceeds to give you a rundown of things to come. Once again with the dance, here's the things. So you guys are going to dance. You're gonna follow the music, all of that. Eventually, the queens will be entering one at a time, followed by a sort of two rosettes at each side going forward. And after the queens enter, and there, by the way, they're supposed to be one of the last people entering as a sort of procedure. The prince himself will be entering quite the very last. Position sitting down. After that whole procedure, Prince gives a speech. Then goes the presentation procedure, where every kindred that is coming to Paris has to present themselves to the prince, and then the festivities can begin. Thank you. So, that's essentially the rundown. And yeah, you take the rest of the time, sort of about 15 minutes of going into detailed explanation, essentially, to make sure it sticks in your mind. Also, I don't know what the problem was. That's supposed to be the generic handout picture. I didn't put any pictures in there.
Yeah, that's why it's weird.
Have you tried sucking
Like the
less?
pictures load now. Wow.
It works for me, by the way. Now, Kraft still hasn't arrived, but boo-hoo to him. So,
He stumbles in late and drunk.
but you would notice, I'm gonna push forward this essentially, but you would notice in the sort of clamoring around, you would notice Severin at a point, sort of with the servants going around making last minute checks and things, and as you can see that there is a preparation of beverages and drinks and regular blood. It seems like he was established as sort of this drink keeper for the night.
It's like 15 peasants down in the cellar, drunk out of their minds, hanging upside down, slowly bleeding to death.
Yeah, because how the party is supposed to work, this main area for vampires, you have a little bit of here rooms and things, so for private conversations or anything you want. So it's a little bit more expansive, but this is the hot zone, and then there is an area that is of a notable side. It's definitely not as decorated things, which is meant for the ghouls.
Is there gonna be like a comedy show?
Only if someone frenzies. You're gonna need to work on that with Margaret. She can't have much willpower left.
And as you sort of start to dispersing, getting into position and things, there will be a thought that goes through your head that it's very easy to identify as not your own, as a certain thing has happened a few nights ago even. You hear Helen in your mind. Just tells you in the most sweetest voice possible, be on your best behavior.
She's too lenient with the clan.
Listen. You have 3 accomplices in the crowd. You don't have to do anything, you just need to pass a message and point her out.
Goddamn it, Craft. But let's go with the time then. Eventually, the time arrives, which is in about half an hour, 15 minutes. There starts to be an influx of guests. People coming in, sort of being led through the castle, leaving things, and you start putting it into places. It seems the people that have arrived first, from what you can garner, seems to be much more of the what could be considered a lower caste, not even in terms of clan, but rather age. Neonates, plenty of neonates. And then still like here and there who maybe doesn't care about the time. Some people bring in their childs, and it starts coming up. And there's a bunch of people. You can see, different cultures. You can see some from possibly English descent, German, and having sort of a uniqueness to their look. Spanish or Italian, tanned. Maybe some even having a sort of a Middle Eastern outlook. You can't really signify who is what, but presumably from the geography and where everybody is, there comes a point where there's a lot of clans and maybe even bloodlines here that it's garnering a suitable population. And eventually,
Tremere? What the fuck is a Tremere? All I see is a caitiff.
no Tremere yet. Eventually, Domhnall would probably arrive at this point as well. Or how would you arrive, actually? Earlier or later?
Probably earlier, because it's easier to establish myself as someone who knows a good story or a good song if I start during the informal part.
All right. Then, at a specific point, you enter this location. Yeah, there's already some people aligning and thing. You can see Francis doing his work, and your eyes meet for a moment as well, acknowledging each other. And you're led to your table, which has, at least right now, one other person there, which is kind of a bit weird because the other tables are starting to fill up, and there's just this one guy. Seems to be unkept, sort of just sitting like this, looking forward, and as you sort of sit in the position, doesn't even turn to acknowledge you, just sits and stares into blank void.
Okay, well, Domhnall would probably leave something to mark this as his place and offer him a good evening, and if he doesn't react, he's just gonna move to wherever conversation is happening.
Mm-hmm. Just one thing to mention, because I did forget. Going in, you would have been asked to remove any weaponry that you have for safekeeping. Would you go? Yes. So, what would you just asking in case? What would you do in such a case? Because you do have a knife on you.
I would ask them if this is really that necessary, especially given that I'm only a feeble Malkavian.
It's necessary.
All right. That prejudice. Okay, sure enough.
So you hand your knife over. They're sort of a ghoul, sort of there working essentially, assure you that it's going to be safe kept. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's ways. You could bark, but either take you one of the
I just
knives and just
take whatever hat I'm wearing and just put it on the table in front of the seat I've claimed.
fair enough. In terms of course I drank it already. In terms of Treblana, how would you be arriving? Sooner or a bit later? You didn't get any information from your grandsire yet.
Or then I would arrive as expected, I guess.
So
If
she's
So-
already
about it.
there and sitting at the children's table.
Goof.
So by expected, you mean like on the dot?
More or less, like maybe like a few minutes early, so I don't run at the risk of running late in case something happens in the meantime. But pretty
Alright.
punctual.
Fair enough. And yeah, you arrive there. Everybody's doing the job. You can notice Domino. You can notice Francis, and you are guided to one of the by a very beautiful lady. You are guided to one of the upper tables. Bashar, okay, look at from it like up down because that's how I'll have positioning on the top left essentially. That's where you're sort of
Okay,
positioned there.
so we're gonna need Craft for this. And Nyaxi, you pass a message through Craft to Treblana and Treblana to me, and I'll do what needs to be done, okay?
But people are lining in, and it gets fuller by the minute. And eventually, you would notice your grandsire, Redimir, at one point enter with a woman by her side.
She has a man out
She,
there.
it's not, romantic or under the arm, just there's somebody that is standing slightly behind, like just a little bit behind, essentially. And she sort of stands there, waits, and is escorted to the table. The woman in question as well seems to be escorted likewise in this case.
Mm.
And upon noticing you, she politely asks the Lady Margaret to potentially sit right next to you,
Uh-oh.
which is obliged. And well, as she comes forward, is there anything you'd like to do, or
I tried to take like a closer look at the other woman. This like does look like vampire or like anything else that isn't.
well, compared to your sire, and well, because your sire is kind of a Cappadocian, does not look dead inside. Does not have this sort of a holding corpse-like features essentially, but relatively. Let me show you a picture. Actually, let me just find that. Yes. Very young looking. In fact, don't question the pictures. I can't find shit on Google. Very young looking. Nothing by your side, but you can see that there was like one of those made handles for like a sword and things. Neatly dressed, but it seems to be a little bit functional at the same part. It's not a full-on dress, but presumably, if that individual is here, it's a vampire. If that's what you're asking.
Oh,
Does
I
she
mean-
look good enough to eat?
She's eat how?
You know how we're not degenerates here. We're proper
Okay.
Sabbat bishops to be.
You don't know her generation. If that's what
Pathetic
you're asking.
fucking neonate.
Mhm. And as your grandsire sort of approaches, stands sort of next to you with the lady. Good evening, Trablana.
Good evening. Pleasure to see you here.
Of
And
course.
who's this? Looking at the other.
Mhm. This is an individual I've been planning to have you meet. But she's been occupied for the past few weeks, in fact. So you never had the opportunity. Please introduce yourself. She sort of looks back. She looks at her, looks back. Nice to meet you. Uh, I'm Katerina, and I serve your grandsire, essentially.
Oh. Well, now that you introduced yourself, I will do the same. You probably heard of me. I'm Triplana Revenue.
Yep, heard of you.
And well, I also work for her. So,
Duly noticed.
do you mind me asking what exactly do you do?
Sort of looks to the sire, looks to you. Well, whatever, whatever she says, essentially, and
Whatever she
that
desires, Redemar.
mostly involves hearing things, finding things out, and well, if a bitch needs smacking, I do it. So the sire looks back, it's like, you could use some better language at times. Looks back, essentially, it's like, sometimes.
You know, I'm kind of looking forward to the point in time where Domhnall can just look at all these Cappadocian degenerates and just slowly and sadly shake his head over what he's seeing in their immediate future.
Oof.
And there comes a little point with a little bit of awkward silence, and Katerina here just goes, "All right, so I think there's still a little bit to the party. Jablana, come with me for a second. This is getting a little bit awkward. We'll come soon. Don't worry." And your grandsire just sort of raised an eyebrow and it's like, "Don't take long." As your grandsire starts to sit down, and she sort of awaits for you to sort of get up and follow her, essentially. What do you do?
Well, I guess I'll follow her.
I. She sort of a little bit of a step in her a little bit of a step in her no, a little bit of wind in her step. She's not going, super slow or just waiting for you. She's sort of going out, and you actually exit the room and go down a little bit to a little bit down the hall where there's a little bit less traffic. Sort of turns to eventually. So, proper introductions. I've been waiting to meet you. So, full name, I'm Katerina Lemeri, and you don't know, maybe don't know, I don't know. I'm a servant of Clan Cappadocia. I'm a Lamia. So that's me, with a bit of a better introduction. How about you?
I may take a deep bow. I'm Triplana Revenue. Um, and of Clan Cappadocian. I I serve my clan by collecting knowledge.
Yeah, that's kind of what you all do, to be fair. So don't take me wrong. Trust me, we're going to be great friends, especially because work makes great friends. But personally interested in you as well. It's been a while since I've seen the lady, and there'd be a little bit uh, excited. Yeah, let's go with excited. So, um, what's special about you? That's what I want to learn. I mean, yes, you're Cappadocian. I mean,
So this one
that's
time I took
not
a
a doubt.
hooker off the street and
That's not anything surprising. You're most likely a learned individual, much more than I am or ever will be. 1 second, by the way. Okay. And, well, you're, in every sense, stereotypical. So I want to know what makes you special.
she just called you a basic bitch. Strike her down.
Don't think I would really care. Um. Well, what way do you mean? There's something special about everyone. That's one of the things I've learned.
And yet I sit at the low.
But if you're truly interested, you can visit me in my during my studies. I'm sure you can learn a great deal from what I can show you.
Oh, I don't.
And of course
I don't.
not, of course not as wise as my master, or rather our master. But I
Don't.
do have some skills and things.
I don't doubt at all. So I'm gonna. Fair. That's impressive. Um, seemingly a lot of potential in you as well. So, yeah, just to note, if I ever seem like I say something that I don't know, one of those toreadors might find a little bit brash or rude, don't take it too often to offense. That's just me talking before I think.
Mm-hmm. How long have you served?
Good question. Uh, don't know the exact year, but maybe a century. It's been a while. Been a good while. And, well, I've heard you've been taking some of similar jobs or work, going here and there, looking for this, getting that back, coming back, having some fun. Yeah, all of that. Though I think the way we do it might be very, very different. Just gonna go on a presumption you like to take an approach of maybe a little bit of secrecy, maybe a little bit of using planning, all the good stuff. I'm much more of a, well, brute force? Yeah, let's go with brute force. But that's where we're going to make a good team. And I say that because we're going to be a team. Soon. Did she ever tell you about something about a little grail in the north? Normandy?
Yes, she mentioned it. Uh, so that's what you wanted to go at. Sure.
Yeah,
So we're supposed to do that together.
yes.
Hmm.
But there's something a little bit in it for us. A little bit of an easier thing. We don't have to travel. Okay, to explain that a little bit to you. So, this festival thing's kind of a blessing. Because when you have a guy who likes to go around saying he has a holy grail, what does that person like? More people that he can tell about that he has a holy grail. Still surprised the church hasn't gotten him, though. Though it's been iffy, I've been following him. But he's. Well, I had to hurry up a little bit, but he was heading on his way to Paris. So he should be here in maybe a night, 2 nights. He's gonna be here. And that's when we're gonna get him.
Century old and still an idiot. Saying that in the middle of a fucking party. Congratulations, I can see why the clan went extinct with guardians like that.
Yeah. To be fair, this is a little bit out, but definitely. I mentioned that.
God bless.
Blessed indeed.
Well, All right. Then I'm gonna just have to explain to her the alias the scout works I did like a while ago with like the good hiding spots. So just in case we need something, maybe that's something that could be could be used. Whisper it in her ear, of course, so no one can easily overhear it.
She eventually comes a little bit closer, as in a whisper, and it's like, I didn't take you for the sneaky kind. And then pulls back and sort of gives you a little bit of a grin. That's a surprise.
Hello.
But hey, hello, Craft. Fuck you, Craft.
Sorry.
Bitch ass. But that's smart to know. I haven't seen many. People are into books and go around finding little hiding spots. Nice though. Anyways, we're taking a little bit too much time. She's waiting. We'll talk after this. Right?
Could you give me like a closer description of the person you're looking out for?
He's fat. Not super fat, but he's got a belly. Definitely a merchant. Has a little bit of a Italian sort of hat. That's going into fashion for some reason. I really don't get the appeal of that. A little bit of that. Big beard over here. Wide nose, but small eyes. And I wish I could draw sometimes. Don't worry about it. I'll show you where. I'll give it a few nights. I'll find him. Show you where it is. Then we go into action.
All right.
Let's go back. And if you're returning back, and so you tell me though, since there's going to be a lot here, how much do you like drinking? Like blood and things. Like, do you do, I don't know, competitively for any reason?
No,
Oh,
I prefer my mind to be clear.
fair enough. Comes back, looks at him, bows back to the grandsire essentially, and eventually sits down. To go back to Craft for a second, essentially, because he's missed. So Craft, just to put you up to speed, city's a bit more livelier because there's also a festival that's seemingly being prepped, and you were called to sort of arrive about an hour earlier than the festival, and it's supposed to start about 9 p.m. essentially.
All right.
And yeah, you arrive there. There's a point where you notice Francis doing his work essentially,
All right.
and you're doing menial prep work in essentially time, making sure everything's ready. There's a destination down a little bit further from where the kindred are going to be. That's going to be the ghouls. You prep barrels, you prep glasses, you make sure everything's neatly ordered, and sort of a little bit of a parchment there, just sort of taking.
You mean I
every...
oversee the ghouls and the butlers do it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And you're sort of having a parchment, ticking things off. It's like, this table's ready, this is ready, this has been delivered, this is blah blah, and you hear a voice from behind, familiar voice that just goes, "There you are, come over here." And as you turn around, you let me show him a very disgusting picture from Google. Fuck, I love Google images.
He looks like an allied character, not gonna lie.
Well, he's like the opposite of an allied character. He doesn't try to kill the party every time, and he's not a maniac who wants power. This
How do you
guy,
know?
because he's my sire.
Oh, my condolences.
And you turn around and you see your sire as he sort of approaches you, arms open essentially. What do you do? Do you run?
Why would I? I turn around and I.
Is it only for me that Kraft's being very robot-y, or
Yeah, for me too.
What the fuck?
Kraft, get your shit ready. Tell your brother to stop going on N hentai.
I fucking hate this new route. Not gonna lie.
God bless. So yeah, do you mind repeating what you said?
I open my arms wide open and say, in a happy voice, you're finally here. Welcome. As
Yeah.
you can see, I'm preparing
Yeah.
for a feast.
He go in for a hug. There's a brief hug, and as he sort of pulls back, sort of holding your shoulder, it's like feels like it's been years since I've seen you. Wait, it has been years.
Yeah.
Sort of taps you. So what are you doing here?
Well, I'm mostly here for my research, but the seneschal. Oh fuck! What was his name? 1 second. Where the fuck is he?
I think you're specifying Bernard, yeah?
Yeah, Bernard, exactly. Yes, one of the seneschals, Bernard, called upon me and gave me this task of helping with the party because of my expertise in wine.
So you're saying somebody else but me has discovered your talent. That's what I want to hear. That's what this is about. I'm extremely proud of you. And a seneschal, no less. Oh. Reminds me of my youth. Trying to look up to the big ones. Looking up just so I can get a little bit of a name in there. Now, I got my castle. And that's enough for me. Trust me, it's going to be enough for you when you get to that point as well. But in the meantime, so everything been going right?
Yes,
How's the preparations then?
everything is looking very well. I have looked through their cellars and they have a pretty good collection for us. And they've also ordered more to complete it. Well,
Did you got any of yours? Grab?
they did have.
Yeah, you're. By the way, if I repeat, it's because you're a robot. That's right. So, just between you and me, right?
Collection.
Just between you and me, give me one of those. Like, at my table. I'm gonna go for that. And whatever else goodies they have. I'm gonna trust you on that one. He's dead, isn't he? He's dead. He's dead, Jim. He's so dead.
F. You're
could
literally
this
playing
happen?
him like Allied, by the way. I agree with the chat.
Yeah, that's okay. Was meant to be. So, who else would adopt somebody who goes like this to I? Well, Kraft's dead.
Yep.
So we're gonna go to Domhnall then in that case, because until Kraft returns, if that's Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
So
By the way, are there any are there any Scandinavian vampires, Gangrel specifically?
looking around where the tables are assigned to, seemingly so. But you can notice from just like sort of the sometimes the heavy beards, sometimes the little knots, tattoos or things at some people. There definitely seems to be a few. They're not non-existent.
I wanna can I have like a word with my colleague that's in charge of the table for the lowlands?
Yeah.
Because I wanna warn him that the Scandinavians already tried once for this loyal Markavian's life, and perhaps we should consider reseating the Markarian to prevent uproar during the festival.
Fair point. Didn't know that. Yeah, they're 4 chairs away. That should be enough, right? No? I'll put more Malkavians to put the place in. Thank you.
Shit. I'm gonna be surrounded by crazies. This is not what I had in mind, you piece of shit!
Look, I was hoping he would go for a more secure solution.
I'm just gonna have to give them the bad eye until they try to leap across the Balkavians. That's the only thing for it.
There does, however, as the party goes, essentially, and Domhnall, you eventually, at one point, come to your seat as well. Somebody on your left side sort of pushes their chair back, sits in there pretty fast, pulls back in, and looks at you. Just sort of right things and gives you like a really big grin. And it's, well, let me show that. And it's interesting because the guy sort of looks like the one harpy that you've seen. Not quite, not that, but he definitely has a complexion that's similar. It sort of just gives you this really big grin, essentially, with the mustache. Looks at you, just sort of like, "Hey, nice party, yeah."
I can't complain. So, I'm Domhnall, proud member of the clan that is, by acclaim, considered the craziest.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I'm Kulai. I'm from the clan that likes tricks too. A lot of tricks. Not like your tricks, though. Definitely not like your tricks. But I like tricks.
Doesn't
tricks do you
narrow
know?
it down that much. I can think of at least like 3 or 4 that like tricks.
That's the game now, isn't it? Come on. Who do you think?
Well, the tan gives it away. You are from not around here.
You could say that.
I met someone recently. He had all kinds of magic tricks. I wouldn't suppose that you too enjoy magic.
I like magic.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't?
Well, you have to give me at least a hint.
What would be a good hint? All right. Sometimes you can see me, sometimes you can't.
I'm not sure that in this day and age I'm familiar with even the main clan's discipline sets.
Do you have any occult?
I have 2, but I'm not sure that's enough.
Uh,
I mean, I probably know about the local ones like Ventru, Torador, etc., the ones that hang around the
Yeah,
Euro,
well, I'd say this actually because this kind of comes into line with you. Now you can see me, now you can't. Probably your first thought would be obfuscate, maybe. But, he sort of still gives you this big grin, sometimes sort of grooming his mustache a little bit, just waiting for you. You can see that he's expectantly waiting for you.
Give me your hand. Hold out.
Gives out a hand.
I'm gonna try and get a clue using Eyes of Chaos on the lines of his palm.
Go for it. Roll for it.
To what difficulty?
Roll it flat. All right.
That's 2 or 3, depending on what the actual.
Yeah, difficulty. So you take out your hand and you sort of look into his eyes and sort of look, and it sort of just like swirls out until you're into blackness, and then you start moving, bumping, bumping, bumping. It's like no matter where you move, 2 steps front, you bump. 3 steps, bump. You keep hitting yourself, even though you know something's in front of you. Keep hitting, 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 hitting. Boom. Cards just start flying down upon you, just like that sort of feel when like there's 5 hands and you just like throw it all down. That's what happens. You get swished like a goddamn fly, and you sort of just like oozify and just plop up. And you now look like one of the cards, actually. Like King of Hearts. You're now a King of Hearts. Congratulations, you're a King of Hearts. And the cards just stay there. And you look down, they're one thing. Look back up, oh shit, it's a royal fucking flush. How could that happen? And at that point, sort of just seeing that change and things, you just eventually, through the sort of the open voidness, just see a grin come up. And you can see like the sort of a shadow going over the grin and the teeth, notifying a little bit of the the mustache that the guy has, and you sort of pull back up, and he's just sort of still expectantly waiting at you, you clutching his hand.
I know of 2 things that can do this sort of thing. I think, or at least I've heard about this. One of them isn't vampires. So, how far have you wandered?
A bit.
Yeah. Shame about what's gonna happen. Shame.
Is this a gate? Alright then.
I know I'm actually fucking with you, but I mean, it's expected, right? I have to. Something bad's gonna happen. I mean, this party, there's no fucking way it's gonna go well. Someone is gonna fuck up. Surely. Listen. I'm gonna lean in. I mean, you didn't hear this from me, but just be careful. Just make sure you can't be blamed if things go bad. I know how this goes. I was already mixed up in something. Just listen, I like you. You seem cool. Just don't be near when whatever's gonna happen happens, okay?
That's one of life's many joys. Don't worry about me. But we haven't finished our game. So, while everything burns around us, I have an idea. And sort of getting a little bit of a deja vu, actually, but not 100%. He sort of takes out a deck of cards, plops it onto things.
Nope. As a certified lunatic, I can tell you I'm not falling for that when I saw how this turns out. No.
Alright. Pulls back those, plops another one down, and they do not look like tarot cards. What about this one? He sort of like pulls one card out, just shoot, and he's like, let me guess. 8 of spades. Oh no, it's not. 8 of spades. Wait, no, it's not. What am I doing? Poker. You played poker before?
How about this? How about we find some people of low intellect and cunning, and you show me how to do this.
He sort of gives you a big grin. My favorite clientele. Picks it
And
up.
I'm gonna point out some likely looking Scandinavians to him.
All right, go for it. Will you just be sort of monitoring him, or will you actually be assisting in any form in the scamming that's about to happen?
You know, I think I'm gonna do it this way. I'm good at conversation, so I want to strike up a conversation with someone nearby and just sort of something that doesn't require too much attention and essentially just, rise the tone, like make noise at crucial moments through whatever story I'm telling to just sort of distract them a bit and give him an opening.
Give me then a. I think this would fit the best. Manipulation, either performance or expression. Performance because it could be
Those are all
storytelling.
very good. Expression, I have a storytelling specialty.
You can go for that. If this is assisting, difficulty base essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I think how, if I remember how that's ruled, it's 2 successes, so it's halved, and that's the additional
Yeah,
successes.
so I give him 3 extra, in theory, if we go with that.
All right. Okay. Just give me 1 sec.
Good buddy, take them for all their worth.
So, it doesn't take you long. It really doesn't. Because at the moment, it's like maybe 2 minutes into the game, and the Scandinavians, like you can see them brushing their beard, looking up, looking down. They've seen this before. They've heard about these fucks as well. And then you hear,
And then I shot the wolf!
"Boo, you fucker!" And you notice that in that sense, and in that moment, almost as like you haven't seen it. It's almost like you've seen Francis or some of the tourists go super fast, but not quite. As he just goes, Gangrel, he goes, "We have a game to play," and he comes back. "I'll deal with you later." Comes back because he's like, "Royal flush." What? And that happens like 3 times, and throughout the course, essentially, you're able to, pickpocketing here and there, essentially. Trying to find some stragglers so that they're all, in a group. You're able to scam all the fucking Scandinavian gangrel in there, and eventually go back to your seat, and he sort of takes out a little bit of a coin purse. 50-50? 50-50. And he sort of just like magically draws down essentially the coins over there.
Okay. I have Legerdemain myself, so can I roll to see how much he's scamming me for right now?
Roll for it. This would be, I think, perception legerdemain, I think, in this case.
And I would assume that the difficulty should be higher since I was also distracting at the same time. I can...
Nah, roll it flat.
Okay.
Right. You check, you look, seems about right. And as you sort of take the coins and about to stuff it in, your hand feels lighter. And as you sort of release and check, there's nothing in your hand. You sort of look back to meet your lives, and it's like, Clan Ravnos. Nice to meet you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that thing you did with the cards. That's why I didn't play with you.
Don't worry. That's just to show who I am. But though that story, that riled the boys up. Didn't see that one before. Usually, I prefer my own way. You? And then he takes out another pouch, gives approximately half, and then, puts it back. There's yours.
Okay, I'm gonna check them with Auspex this time. Because I can technically pierce chemistry illusions.
All right, go for it. Just roll perception awareness. I don't remember the rulings, but just roll it base for the time being.
Okay. Think it's usually 7 when you're contesting something, and my roll is shit anyway, but
Don't worry about it.
yeah, no fucking idea.
Nope.
I
Don't
sort of
notice.
left it.
Feels real to the touch.
This isn't like some more fairy gold bullshit, right? Because I know how that goes. Pisses me off when people do that.
I know it does. That's why I don't do it. That was just to show you, as a sign of trust.
Uh-huh.
But that's real. Bite it if you want.
Sure, I trust you. I mean, only a true madman would fuck with a lunatic with enough experience to have mastered the crazy.
Maybe I'm just as crazy then.
Listen, I even left
Be
out the
offended.
best part of the story. The fur coat. You know, that's the smallest part of it. One of those fuckers got killed because they attacked me.
Ooh, that's nasty.
Yeah.
But looking at that cloak, you won, huh?
Yep, little prize. Looks good,
Yeah.
huh?
Looks
All the
good.
sweeter with how I got it.
When you play with crazy, you have to play by the rules. And that rule, there ain't no rules. And they didn't know the rules.
Ain't that the truth? I'm gonna keep my heightened senses on, and I'm sort of doing that partially hearing corner of the eye thing to be aware when any of the Scandinavians are, sort of passing on a route that could lead them to right behind me, essentially,
Fair enough. Not gonna ask you to roll this because there's enough traffic and you're keeping a paranoid eye on essentially, and you're trained for this essentially. You're trained to sniff out the Scandinavian wherever they are. But
yeah, I have a specialty to go with this.
yeah, but there seems to be a very begrudging, but sort of your presence has created a safe space from the Scandinavians. Not because you're there, but because this is Elysium, and I think they know the rules. So you're keeping an eye out, but there doesn't seem to be that anybody bother you. You at points sometimes there's like even one train seems to be like a bunch of deodates. They pass like not really right behind you, but it rings. Say a name, something like ginger bitch or whatever the fuck, and it seems to be like going in a line. Like one says it, then another guy says it, then another. It's almost as like that's a greeting of sorts. They pass by, they present themselves, you're a fuck twat. They go back to their seats.
Okay, yeah. Every time they do it, I want to just roll some type of intimidation because I just give them the crazy. I just look them straight in the eye, face impassive, like, go on, bitch.
Appearance intimidation.
I wish I had specialty for this. I wish
Fair
I
enough.
had a specialty for this.
I was gonna say a bit of a higher difficulty, mostly because they're trying to definitely restrain and fuck off from you, but I'm not gonna cut you out of a good roll. So for successes, there's definitely a little bit of tensions, and you hear what it's better. Like you hear one, have him right here, you idiot. No, we don't. I could claws out, and just run at it. No, boom, slap. No. Elysium. And yeah, there's definitely a little bit of tension. Like he looks at you, scary eyes, like.
You know the what that said about the claws? When next our eyes meet, I just extend one of the fangs slightly. I just like, come at me, bitch.
Seemingly, through the conversation, it seems to be sort of a sire-child relationship in this case, which is and just like slaps. Don't look at him.
He's trying to provoke you. Don't look at him.
Oh, look at.
Well, I've created as much as an opening as I can afford to. If my friends are gonna help me get to the good table.
Definitely. Going back to Severin for a moment to continue that.
Yeah, boy.
Shit, I'm trying to remember also quite the last thing, but you were talking to your sire,
Yep.
and I think he was like, so
He said
between
like you have to give me like one of the last thing he had said that I
yeah
remember him saying was you gotta fix a wine to my table. You're one of
yeah
yours,
one of
basically.
yours, and if you find something Italian, put that on my table too.
Alright, I'll fix it. I'm gonna grab one of my good bottles from my private collection and that's what I'm gonna put on his table. Not one of the old bottles they have.
So, how busy are you going to be during this party? I mean, I can see you're running around and things. We're going to have a moment to like sit down, have a drink.
Yeah, later. When
Yes.
everything starts, then I should be fine.
I'll even show you when this is all done. We're coming. Did you find a place here? Like a good place?
I have a very okay place that I'm sleeping right now at.
Perfect. Came with my carriage. Didn't pay for an inn yet. So if I'm drunk, which I can't be, to be fair, bring it in. If not, I'm staying at your place staying. That good?
Alright.
All right. So, huh, I'm technically a vassal, so can't dilly dally. But it's good to see you, Severin. Really is. We're gonna talk.
Yeah, good to see.
And he sort of gives you one more, essentially a hug before he ends up leaving and things.
Alright, perfect. Fun. Now
Now,
I can ask. Yeah.
yeah. Is there a just a note? Because I did offer everybody this. You have like 1 hour pre-hand, and while this preparation, I suppose, is going on, if you want to do something there, is there anything you would have done to prep or be ready for, or just do something quickly before you went here? Also, note your blood is max -1, just to sort of note that you're filled up.
Okay, perfect. Because that's what I was gonna do. Drink some more blood because I was a bit empty from last session.
Fair enough. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. Do I still? Would I remember what Donald would have said about that something bad would happen today?
Um, if you can remember it, I'm gonna presume that you do remember it, unless it was like a
Alright.
fuck
It
ton long
wasn't.
ago.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't
It
specifically
was like
about
2 weeks ago, and it wasn't specifically about today, right?
Yeah, it was
Just that something
about
bad
in
is
the
gonna happen.
immediate future, like something's building up.
mhm.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know. Alright, then no worries about it.
Yeah, but presumably, because this was pretty recent, you'd know that there is from Domhnall a sort of threat that looms over. God bless. He just goes
Yeah,
mute.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think I would prepare for that. I'll probably just try and go find the ghoul. What was his name again?
Yeah.
Roland.
Roland. Yeah. Don't worry. Like he's kind of as you're preparing, he's kind of like not really co-manager, but like right under you, right currently.
Uh-oh.
Sort of just while you're taking the overseeing writing, he's much more of the bossy mood in this case. He's the one going yelling faster, or we need this here, or we need that here.
Alright.
So to go to the main part now. Eventually, though, the hall fills up. Ghouls galore down in the area made for them, and the place is filled. Talking, brimming. Some people are silent, looking around. Some people are just sort of shouting their lungs out in sort of greetings, or even a little bit of an earlier early party making essentially. Musicians are starting to get on board, and just to quickly confirm, Domhnall, would you be sort of playing, like some starting tunes or something eventually, or are you going to like enjoy yourself?
Um, well, I'm mostly making the rounds, and when the musicians are taking the breaks, if whatever the whatever crowd I'm with at the moment is interested in like hearing an Irish tune, I will definitely oblige. But I'm mostly, just introducing myself, networking, etc.
Fair enough. And it all sort of comes and realize, and Francis, you noticing that it's kind of full, you sort of look for the other hosts. Your eyes meet Margaret for once, and you sort of all huddle up real quickly, and it's like one of the contenders says, "So it's getting filled. I think it's almost time, yeah?" All right. I'm there. Yes. And you all sort of stand in line, and Margaret sort of gives you her hand to sort of put under to walk in front. As there's a little bit of sort of like a small little entourage of just like people that were ready for this moment sort of starts appearing as well, and they seem to have horns and like those like very primitive trumpets essentially sort of to present something. And Margaret sort of looks at you and is just like, "Sir Francis."
And her.
Lady Margaret.
Finish her. This is round 3.
Compared to just from the first touch, there doesn't seem to be a lot of instant hostility. There doesn't seem to be something. Presumably, she's maintaining herself because this is a place of importance.
Mind wiped. Someone took those memories away.
Oof.
And the trumpets go and just boo. Well, not really boo, but trumpet noise. Newt newt goes.
Boo.
Newt newt goes across the entire sort of things, and everybody sort of like looks back, and there's a slight little silence bit, and sort of walking forward in that moment, hand to hand, essentially with your partner. Some people that are sort of near the center things sort of realize, okay, something's going on, move to the side, and you have a clearing in the middle, and you start doing your dance. To see how well this goes, you can roll me, the dexterity performance check essentially.
Yeah, I'm flat buffing us all first.
All right, and this is not an opposed roll. This is
They're actually close.
this is about to be an assisted roll, Yaxi. So
Who's the lead?
well,
Just trip her and throw her across the floor. It's fine.
No. Now, actually, that is a good question. If you want this to be opposed, you can. But base, it's going to be cooperative. But because you're the male in this case, and that's supposed to be the lead, you're the lead. So let's.
I don't
so
know.
That's
I'm not
sexist,
sure
dummy.
right now.
If you want her to frenzy and then get put down, you can oppose the roll and make her trip and fall.
But can you fool Helen at the same time?
That's
No, I
true.
She
can't.
of Troy. She's just reading your mind right now, looking at these thoughts going through your head like, don't you dare, you bitch.
You ruined this night, and I ruin your life. Or unlife.
So Dex performance, base difficulty, and as you start dancing, some sort of pre-prepared bards essentially start playing a tune, and quickly after, some people that are vampires that are some
Nice. Did you spend a willpower?
some
Yeah, it's one success because I have specialties.
some
Wait,
vampires
what the fuck? All that practice,
you
years of
recount my-
academy training wasted! It was all for this moment!
Good thing you didn't choose to oppose, eh?
some vampires are already sort of making adding into the band, adding sort of to the tune. And I'm gonna go with that role. It throws you a little bit off balance, especially because on one point you're trying to focus on this, but there is also a point of watching a Margaret, and there ends up being a little bit of let's say oopsie, not really oopsie from you, but you're a little bit distracted. Now let me just roll over here for the added. So add that to there, that to there. Yeah, that would even out.
Maybe
Just
she will
stop
save you.
and smack her across the face and blame her for the fuck up.
I mean, this pen. Maybe she saved it if the assist is good enough.
She would have definitely spent the willpower on this because of the importance, which ends up bringing it to, I swear to God, how is 13 dice shite in this case? Because blood buffed as well. With a willpower, that's 4 successes. So that's total 3 successes. All right.
Good enough start.
So you end up dancing a little bit and going to the rehearse, and there comes a point where it's sort of difficult to sort of present everything. You're a bit uncertain. Either it's the added crowd, or the music being a little bit out of touch, or being unsure of if Margaret's gonna trip you or do something, or things. There comes a point essentially where sort of where someone comes in a crescendo, and essentially, and Margaret sort of looks at you and just be like, "What are you doing? Just focus." And
Frenzy take.
depends how you take it. But definitely you're off your game. And the dance keeps on going. It keeps on going, and there's a little bit of clapping from some people. There seems to be nods. You take an appreciation of looking around from the crowd. Some seem things. You even take a look at your contenders, and they seem to be faring slightly better than you in this case. But you do your rounds. You do.
Actually, I have something that should inspire you and make you feel better.
And eventually, the sort of dance is supposed to end up where the 4 of you sort of disconnect, your hands, and it ends up making sort of like a square with, the 2 male leads and 2 opposite corners, and the 2 females in one corner, and they sort of just bow and present, and the doors open, and in starts coming. First and foremost comes in actually Lady Helen. At her sides, an entourage, essentially, of cloaked individuals with a little rosette signal over here. Hold up, I need to read this. This is a meme.
And I'll use a break or something during the dancing to make eye contact with Margaret and then look towards the Scandinavian gangrel that are no doubt really angry looking.
Mhm.
To sign to her that I'm worried about them.
The perfect fucking scapegoat! Yes!
All right. Give me. What would be here?
This is like an expression if he's hinting
Yeah, if
with
it's
his
using
eyes.
hinting, I'm trying either gonna because in Margaret empathy wouldn't really work. Go for expression, but because it's obviously less contact, plus one difficulty essentially to properly convey what you're trying to say.
Which attribute?
Manipulation, because
My manipulation.
are you actually afraid of the Scandinavian game grounds?
Oh, obviously, yes.
He can see what I've done. At this point, he may well be genuinely worried.
Sure, but keep that in mind. Don't dupe the GM in this case. So in this case, you could. I'm going to say then, to your benefit, because you're not trying to scam it, you're trying to present it in a way with your facial expressions and a worry that you can keep to yourself, give me with appearance then.
Let's see, I need to... Okay. I'll spend a point of willpower.
Sure, but do remember, you're afraid of the gangrel being uppity.
Well, yeah, I want this to be a success. That's 4 successes.
4 successes. Actually, I only said it's you put +2 base. It was a
Did
plus
you
1.
say plus 2?
No, I said
thought
+1
more.
because it would have been a bit more difficult to express.
Very well, I can reroll it if you'd like.
Please do.
Wow, cucking players out of good rolls now.
It's still at least 3, maybe 4 of captivating counts.
You have 9 dice. Do you have another specialty? Oh no, wait. Your appearance is 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be 3 successes. I don't think captivating in this would work.
But I'm capturing her attention and directing it so.
And 3 successes is still a full success usually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is. You sort of convey that, and sort of Margaret, sort of bowing down and sort of making slight eye contact, sort of looks. You feel that she's gotten the message, but isn't reacting too much to it. But you've conveyed your worries using eye contact and a little bit of a subtle facial movements and a little bit of body language here and there. But the queen comes in an entourage. There seems to be start to actually reveal people. Next to Helen, there seems to be a individual who is very heavily armored, actually. By the way, not historically accurate, picture related. Just note, heavily fucking armored. A very heavily armored individual, masked, like helmet still on. You do not see the face, so sort of on one side, sort of stepping forward. On the other side, what actually surprised you a little bit, because that's not actually quite usual for knights to have. There seems to be a sort of a noble female sort of like walking next by as well. Next comes in another popular sort of figure, Isolde de Blaze, or Blaze, or however you want to say it. The next queen, with her entourage, consisting of a familiar individual already, Moilius, and coming around with a very pretty boy, essentially. Also, slightly armored. By the way, they all have weapons at side. Those being a sword of some sort. Pretty boy, essentially coming here, looking pretty smooth, essentially going through. Next follows a next queen, but he's not your conventional queen, because he's not a queen. He's a boy. Coming forward, elegantly dressed in an outfit, sort of like really spoofing him, like in the chest piece area, essentially. Following him, a very rugged-looking individual, but head tall, essentially, just looking straight, essentially. And one more individual. Going through all of them. Another sort of an older-looking individual who seems to have his back straight, confidence things, and a smile actually over his face as he sort of comes in head high, essentially. Lastly, comes in Queen Sullian herself, the mother of the courts of love, as some can say, having only one by her side. A bit more of a moodier fellow. Definitely darker clothes and the like, but still presenting himself, going forward, has definitely spiffed up. And they all walk sort of elegantly, going forward, and all sort of take their place behind the queens, go up on the one table that has like 4 seats right beneath the throne, sit there. And The Rosettes have a table that is made for them that is has 8 seats, and 7 of them sit down there. And finally, after sort of a little bit of a wait time, after everybody comes in and your bows goes through, comes another trumpet roar as a man who has a cloak that follows him for quite a bit, sort of kind of reminiscent to almost like a wedding gown in terms of length, like there's a behind him. Very comes in even actually slightly armored. You can see like a breastplate, but it's like ornate looking, crown on his head, luscious blonde locks, essentially accentuating his fuckboy features, essentially. But he comes in alone, actually. In comes boy prince. Actually, let me just also show Queen Saliana for those who haven't seen her. In comes fuckboy, boy prince, Alexander of Paris, looking like motherfucking Alucard, because that's literally the best thing I got. Comes in. Some people of some people bow to him. Actually, right there from the get go. Some people sort of don't do anything. Some people sort of stiffen up. There's different reactions to such an ancient kindred coming in, and there's definitely a different aura about him. You presented yourself to him once before, long ago, but the feeling doesn't change. There's still a bit of almost a little bit of the rumbling of your beast inside, saying, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit," sort of following your heartbeats. With each heart, well, not really heartbeat, but you could almost feel like there's a heartbeat of "oh shit" coming from your beast as you feel a rumbling right next to your
Hey,
heart.
shut off, Auspex.
Very well. Each sort of step, helped with the armor, has a little bit of a clang to it as he walks up, takes the right sort of stairs going up, and he sits down on his throne. And he's young looking, and it doesn't feel like as if the entire throne would fit him. And you can notice that the throne is a lot bigger than he actually is, but there's something about him that, oh fuck me, but there's a little bit about the image, that his aura, his presence, that almost makes it feel as he's bigger than he seems, in fully encompassing the throne and where he sits, a stature of respect, essentially. There's a moment of silence as he sits. Uh, you don't know in character, out of character. Yeah, he's pretty fucking old.
Can I leap at him?
Do you want to leap at him?
Domhnall doesn't, but I do.
By the way, I out of this is saying you have no idea how fuckedy it is, where it's like you're writing all the things. Okay, nature, generation, sire, Ventrue.
I do know, Demi. I've generated entire cities in a sitting. I know.
But it's always like, oh shit. I don't have to roll for his entrance craft. It's narrative.
He auto succeeds with 6 successes because Demi said so. Fuck you.
Yes, fuck you.
Okay.
And there's a moment of silence, maybe about 5 to 10 seconds. You weren't really taking count. And he sort of looks over, not even taking movement still, not even taking a breath. Some of you still have the, instinct to either gasp or sort of take a breath when something happens, but he just nonchalantly just goes, "I welcome every single kindred here to my domain and to this court. I sincerely hope you all have a pleasant evening tonight. But I must inform that like in every other court, respect the traditions, respect the elders, respect the blood. Please, continue with the feasts." as he sort of hand waves, and which kind of gives like an instant cue to the bards to just like continue playing some song, just like play it right there. But there's a little bit of awkwardness, like 5 seconds after, because like a very heavy, very non-caring voice passes through all those pleasantries and things. You don't even need to have high perception empathy to like realize that there's a bit of a either an ego or really doesn't care about anybody here. And there's a little bit of awkwardness as the song begins, but some of the low clans in the back sort of like start whispering, whispers start happening, and then after maybe about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, a little bit of the atmosphere slightly returns, but it's nothing too special. Eventually, however, and this is maybe another 20 minutes past after that, the seneschal, if some of you can notice that the seneschal sort of comes into and stands like in the middle of the room, orders one of the servants to play a trumpet really loud. People start looking, coming back, and the seneschal, to be more specific, the seneschal Heliot, the one that was at the trial, the sort of older gentleman, speaks in a loud voice.
Uh-oh.
As per tradition, every kindred here who is not originally from Paris is required to present themselves to the prince. I would like if everybody could form a line, present your name and your clan and where you come from. Some people are reluctant to go. Some maybe from, you can notice that some of the people who are a little bit more uppity, a little bit of the youngsters, sort of like clamored, to the things like, I'm going to present to the prince first. The more older of the kindred here sort of take their time, let the young ones go first. Let them shine in the forefront, or let the young ones do what the young ones do. And at a point, eventually, as this pretty decently long line starts forming, kindred start introducing themselves. Some a little bit more respectful, some a bit more not respectful, being from some of the low clans, mostly being their name, their clan. I come from Germany, this specific city. I'll be staying here for a month less and fuck off. Some start to give a little bit of a poetry, a little bit of speech. I, Giorno Giovanni, have a presentation for you, or whatever. Not really Giovanni, but giving you the impression of gonna give you a presentation. You're gonna like it. Some people go two at the same time, introducing themselves and their child, and eventually the more older individuals start heading out. Severin, your side has to stop your conversation at one point. It's like, well, the line seems to be becoming smaller. I think it's my turn to go up there. Well, you're gonna see me, but I won't be able to talk to you. So, talk to you soon. And as he stands up, goes patiently waiting in line, and Trablana, your grandsire, does the same. But she seems to be going. Actually, no, my bad. Your grandsire does not go because she's a citizen of Paris. Damn it.
Yeah, I was about to say.
My bad. But it goes for a while, and the entire presentation takes almost an hour, hour and a half. But the party doesn't really stop. Some people, when they get back, start doing their own thing. Some people, the music keeps on going, and
It's a question though.
Go for it.
What clans roughly put in, and like how many of each, like just roughly.
Well, to tell you even more vaguer, because that kind of is the point. There's a lot from every. Obviously, there's some toreadors, there's some bench. notice every clan that is essentially present, and there's at least a minimum of 5 per clan. Yeah, there's a bunch of people. You don't note, however, that there's even some more bloodlines. There's one that sort of nonchalantly goes, it's like, I'm of bloodline Kiasid,
Oh
so that's
shit.
it. Some even present themselves as a Nagaraja. So, though those aren't, super common, uh, even some definitely from more distant lands presenting themselves as Assamite viziers, a few followers of Set here and there as well. There's people here from every clan, and not maybe every bloodline, but some of them that are definitely a bit more. Oh shit, they catch me off guard. Um, and even though they're not seated as such, there's even a few that introduce themselves of Clan Zimissi that have traveled from Eastern Europe to attend this marvelous party and gathering of kindred and such.
Fuck, time to create a volcano.
But to answer your question, a lot here and there. Not really, don't have really exact numbers, but you'll
Yeah, yeah,
find.
just roughly. So we're looking at a colorful mixture of basically everyone and their mom.
Yep. And obviously, there's some from your clan as well that you've gone into a little bit of conversation. There's nobody that you can presume is super old. There seems to be mostly consisting of neonates with maybe another insula in there and how they're presenting it, through the small talks of who they are and what they know. But
The fat guy was supposed to be coming to the city too, right?
uh,
Or was he one of the people that are already here? I
uh,
don't remember.
fat guy, you mean you're specifying the merchant?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see him here, but the presumption was at one point that it's actually immortal.
Yeah.
So, presumably not here.
Unless he's in the cellar.
But eventually, the presentations end, and it hits about midnight essentially until by the time everything comes around and the presentations are finished and sort of where the real partying comes up. Some people are already leaving, some people are taking getting up from the chairs, dancing, enjoying themselves, going into some of the more private rooms to have discussions. It kind of ends up being a little, not really a free for all, but it's not like, okay, it's one of those parts where I can get up from my chair and have some freedom.
Okay.
So
Demi,
is there any
there is something fucky I would like to do.
go for it?
When there is a quiet moment while the prince is still there, I want to play a tune that isn't human, something that I've heard among the fairies. I want to impress the prince.
All right. Um. All right. Give me a charisma performance check,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to give you, however, a base of +2 difficulty because it's not supposed to be replicated. Essentially, it's definitely a more difficult tune that has a little bit of a zest that you need to be really good at.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially,
Spending willpower.
go for it.
Oof. Savage.
Ouch. So that's one success. There comes a point, where the bars are taking, their 5-10 minute rest essentially, and you come up and well, there's a tune. How exactly about going this? Is like a song that just has a tune, or is it like a song it has lyrics of some sorts, or are you going about
It's
this?
it's probably something that, I mean, honestly, it would be something that I can just do instrumentally, probably, but something elemental like something to do with the wind, most likely. And if I could use the ring to boost this in any way, I would be definitely using the 1 use per night to get it to accompany my efforts.
All right. It would. I mean, it would help if you were using a wind instrument of some sorts, but that ends up still being a little bit of. Actually, not really, because it's meant for talking. Like while you can call
Mm-hmm.
the wind spirits and things, you can't really command them to, elegantly float through the flute to make that sound that you want. So I'd
Mm-hmm.
have to sadly say no on that one.
Okay, fair enough.
But it doesn't garner a lot of attention. It seems most people seem to just brush it off as somebody else trying to go into the fray. And you're looking around, doing things, and there's I'm gonna have to create a sheet for this later, but there's one eye that looks
Fucking
upon
Kia
you,
Seed.
one eye that glances upon you,
I
and then you notice him, and then he turns back to his table.
yeah. If I lock eyes with him again, I'm just gonna look at him meaningfully and start walking towards the private rooms.
Hmm. Nah, they're too cold. I don't think they wouldn't. They noticed you, but they don't seem to turn around another time to sort of look at you. They sort of just you got their attention definitely if that's what you're going for, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't seem that he's looking at you again.
Oh, he'll find me eventually.
All right,
Okay, yeah, that's other than the usual. That's what I wanted to attempt.
gotcha. Uh, Francis, your duties essentially come a little bit, dying down. There doesn't really need to be, go here, go here. So there's obviously a little bit of parts where somebody asks to dance real quick or blah blah because oh my god you're so pretty, um, but you have moments where you can essentially be free from any nagging and things. And is there anything that you would specifically like to do during this party?
Like, I'm content just to serve my clan as a outstanding member.
Unlike some.
All right, how would you like to go about serving your clan, Sir Francis?
I'll see if the others are like, my colleagues, if they are kind of slipping up and try and prevent anything from going too far.
There's a moment. Well, I can say this because it's happened. But we'll get to that if anybody else does something. There's a point where Domino goes up, tries to go for a tune. It's unique, but it doesn't seem like he royally fucked up as it. As you sort of go up there and she's like, nobody's really paying attention to him. So doesn't seem like he fucked up, but he didn't attract an audience. If you want, give me though, since you technically are keeping a eye out, give me a perception alertness roll. If you're using Auspix, do mention.
Well, I'm like a keeper of Elysium, the Queen said, so I'm specifically allowed to use Auspix.
Go for it then.
What's the base difficulty?
Base difficulty would be 6. So if you have Auspix, I think that drops it down to the minimum of 4. Yeah. You're looking at the crowd doesn't seem to have any notice of, but you do notice one individual who is like keeping an eye on him for a while before turning back to his table. But that's obviously at the start when he was playing, there were some eyes, but then they swiftly ignored him, seeing like just a continuation of something or somebody's trying something. But there's one individual is keeping a little bit more of a focus, then turns back.
At which of the tables?
Well, it's from one of the low clan ones.
Cative trash one.
Which clan do they look like?
Well, you were there, and I suppose you do have attentive, so I'm gonna apply this. Remembering sort of now things, they mentioned Clan Kiesid.
Kiesid are very distinctive, by the way. They stretch and go pale.
Oh yeah, there's that. Most you can compare him most likely to a Cappadocian, but without the rot, without the dying, pale looking and tall, and has a little bit of definite things. But you do remember that he mentioned that he is of Clan Kiesid, and to give him a name, fuck it, we'll call him Matthew.
Is this demeanor threatening, like, or is he just curious?
Mostly curious. It's almost like a little bit of curious, but also a little bit of it's kind of hard because they're kind of always a little bit cold. They're a little bit of like the like non-caring on their face, but there's definitely a little bit of curiosity, just mostly from the body language and obviously a little bit of extra tension. But there doesn't seem to be hostility.
I think I would still point him out to Donald, just in case.
You can do that. All right. So if you want to role play that out or not, it's up to you.
I think it's pretty obvious because I tried to lock eyes with him and, lead him off. So
Right.
it's clear that I've noticed.
Well, I didn't necessarily saw that.
Going
I
next.
can supply you with his name and his clan, if you didn't already know this information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we probably will, compare notes after the party as a group.
Nextly, we have Severin. Crafty, here are you dead?
F.
I'm gonna call rigor mortis on Craft. Look, guys, a Torter evolved into a Cappadocian. We're gonna go on Shablana. On your sort of side, like going into, there was a lot of small talk between. Look, he unmuted himself.
Hello?
I'm sorry, Craft. We skipped you already, bitch ass. Shablana, answer faster.
Yeah, that's a Kale move. That's another one for ST bingo.
So in Shablana, in your case, you've had a little bit of small talk with things. Some people definitely look up to you, asking for expertise, asking about your knowledge, prodding, but staying respectful because your grandsire is nearby. And there's a point. Well, let's do this first. Is there anything you'd like to specifically do?
Well, I actually would like to do something. It's a bit risky and probably retarded, but I'm
Go
gonna
for
do
it.
it anyways. You know those hiding spots? I want to go to like the nearest one, once there's like no one nearby,
Mm-hmm.
and try to hide like one of the skulls. I have like the rabbit skull. I think it's the smallest one I have. Let me check my notes real quick. They're like really small, right? Like a fist at most, like a
Yeah,
woman's
it's
fist.
like a like a funny bone end. But yes, they're
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna like try to hide it. That like blends in.
I'm going to say for this, give me a wit stealth roll. Base difficulty. Do you maybe note how many successes you got on the hiding place?
I didn't, but it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
Like I had like eight or successes or so,
Yeah.
or like 6. I don't remember.
In that case, I'm gonna say give it to me at the base difficulty, not base difficulty, but give it to me at difficulty 4, essentially, because you've had this place, you know these places, you can go about it and hide it appropriately.
All right.
All right. You didn't spend willpower, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 successes. You sort of, go out at one point, walking. What rabbits? Like just Put rabbit skull. Yes, go out. Nobody's none the wiser.
If she gets caught, we've never met her.
Yeah, probably.
Fucking blessed.
Yeah. Like once I see, I'm gonna like watch the people like leaving the room itself, and it might be going there, and if there's like someone that seems like worthwhile, I'll probably like excuse myself for a second and like discreetly watch,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will probably just try to like meet with my clanmates and generally stay probably pretty silent since social isn't my mainstay.
Understandable. Going back to Severin, Severin the Late.
No. Fuck.
Is there anything you would like to specifically do during this party? You don't. There's no really. You're not really as busy as you sort of delegated, properly what needs to be done here and there. So you have, some time unless something comes up, essentially.
Alright. I'm gonna go hang out with my sire. Fun.
All right. So you have to wait for your sire to finish, the presentation. He presents himself in a very boisterous, eccentric way, but ends it pretty fast. And Prince gives a nod as usual. Actually, to be a bit more specific, in that boisterous, eccentric, and this is a little bit noticeable, and you kind of know this from your sire as well. It seems that individuals who have a little bit of land or a domain are actually kneeling to the prince in their introduction and presentation again. But he finishes it pretty quickly, pretty boisterous, pretty loud, obviously, before kneeling and eventually coming back. Prince gives him a small nod. And he comes back to you and he sits down and sits down like across you. You're able to find like a location that seems to have a bit of a free spot. Sits across you and it's like,
Alright.
well, this is fun. I can't tell you how many times I've kneeled to him. It's, as some would say, standard procedure. But
Damn it.
Fuck's sake. You just couldn't resist.
I couldn't resist.
Does the expression standard procedure even exist in the Middle Ages? For fuck's sake.
It's canon now.
House Tremere exists, so yes.
No, it does. House Tremere is like a bunch of 6th gens at this point. We're like in the
They're
early 1000s.
hermetic, some of them, but they exist at least as mages.
Basically, I
Okay,
swear
then.
to God, checked a little bit of the lore. They're a thing, but standard procedures, just a thing. But
Oh my god. So you're telling me a Tremere ate my sire and now he's my sire? I'm actually a Tremere all along.
so it's been a few years. How have you been?
I've been working on my dream.
And how's that
Getting
going?
closer. Recently I had a big breakthrough. I think I'm getting closer to
There's a little bit of an
very
audience.
well.
There's a little bit of an audience here. Let's not hear.
Yeah.
But I want to hear every detail about that because, can't wait for that, honestly. Cannot wait.
Yes. It will be quite something when I finally succeed. How have you been, sire?
Well, my supplies have been dwindling, let's just say that. I've missed you. It's been a little bit taxing here and there. Have to maintain my holding, maintain my status, neonates passing through my lands. Though there's been a little bit of a story around you, actually around my domain now. And with that, well, not fledglings, but neonates come about looking for Severin the Great. Sorry, a little bit hyperbole there, but some people are looking for.
Really?
Yeah, there's been people looking for your exploits indeed, and I've been praising them. I've been praising you with every word I can. So,
Really?
really. So, if you find a random neonate going around asking for your name and hearing a story, might be a little bit me, might be a little bit of them. It might be obviously a little bit of you. You've been doing good.
Alright then. You think I would become so famous for something that isn't even complete yet?
Obvious. Of course, you're going to be famous. You have talent, and, well, you're my child. So, come on.
He's definitely a Tremere. You are fucked.
Now, not to brag, I do take the brightest and the most talented, but I've only had one, so that's you. But I trust in you, and I believe in you.
Thank you, sire.
But,
I appreciate all your support.
and I appreciate yours. I've heard stories of how children can come out as going so far as, to kill their sire, but I think we've got a bond. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think
And I
we're
want to
pretty
keep
close.
it. And I want to keep it like that.
Am I blood bonded to him?
As far as you know, no. You do specifically remember a point as well in your past that he doesn't want to bloodbound. He never wanted to bloodbound you.
Nice. He only had a one step at some point, but after I was gone for so long, it went off. But I got a nice guy, man.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
So, how's Paris been? Like, Paris been treating you? Have you been able to, make something here, or just finding a way to go by?
I've been trying to get some establishments here in winemaking, but it's not been going well. But I've only been here for 3 weeks at this point.
Well,
So I'm still gonna go keep looking for those so I can increase my cash flow for the research. Since I need some more resources right now.
I have
But
some.
otherwise, it's been going pretty well.
Do you need any help? I do have some old friends here from Paris.
No, it's okay. I don't need any favors right now. I'll ask if I need something.
Shut down. Cold. So fucking cold. It's like, yeah, we should do a thing. We're family. No, fuck off. Stay the fuck out of my life.
How about you shut up, Chris? Because this is the way I'm gonna go with it. He sort of gives you a nice little smile, says, "That's my boy."
I mean, look at how the fuck the sire looks. Do you think he wants me to ask him for help every time I see him? Do you really believe so, Chris?
Well, there is one thing I wanted to ask you about actually. I've heard from who am I kidding? I'm not for this. I heard from another tourister, right? You found yourself a coterie here, saying, well, that there's where is he? Yes, that guy. And then he leaves.
Alright, this is not my day today, alright?
Have you tried
not
not
my
pissing
day.
off the estate?
I mean, look, okay. Fucking yesterday, they came here and installed a new, I don't know, Wi-Fi, I don't even know what to
Crap,
call it. Some
stop
kind of internet thing.
whining. The
Yeah.
lightning
Alright?
yeeted
Not
the
my
power
fucking
grid in my
fault.
city and I'm still here.
I'm using my fucking phone right now, okay? I'm trying to be here, alright? Calm the fuck down.
Fucking blessed.
I have good mobile internet, alright? Don't worry about it.
Doesn't look like it.
Oh, fuck you too.
But what I was going to say, so the sire sort of looks around. It's like, so a little birdie, nah, fuck it, a little toreador, told me that you found yourself a coterie here.
Fucking
Or
Yes, some very nice people.
Fucking Margaret. We need to kill
yeah,
her. She knows too
one
much.
one uh there he is, that pretty boy over there. I think he introduced himself as Sir Francis.
I never met.
No.
No, when you danced, you introduced yourself, right?
There is still a point where there would have been slight introduction, even though you're not going to table and table. When you're going stuff, there's a little bit of actually no, you would have met him, you fuck, because you are in choice of the Toward and Ventrue table, and you had to introduce yourself and escort him. So you
Yeah,
do.
I suppose.
You know who all the Toreador are. Now we only need to know generations and the Ventru. They recite their fucking lineages. We're in the game, boys!
Yeah, I'm a high Jet too. Let's go.
Points around his beard. Sir Francis de Fagnon, I think. I think he's from the south, actually. He, um, he's one of them, right?
Isn't he from the north?
I don't know. Need to check him out. But
Yeah,
how
he's a good
what-
lad.
I thought you'd be going a little bit more solo. What made you what brought you to actually that? I'm interested.
Well, it's always nice to have a few friends where you are,
That's true.
and they're very resourceful. They are a very resourceful bunch,
Hmm.
and being alone in a new big city is never a good thing. I mean, I can tell them how we met, I guess.
If you want to.
There probably isn't anything bad about it. Did we decide how we met?
Yeah, met in a tavern.
I mean, we just randomly hooked up over the years.
Yeah.
We just... Hell, we're barely more than acquaintances, and we just sort of hate each other less than everyone else.
Yeah.
Bas-
Basically.
Yeah, that reminds me. I was at a coterie too, long ago. And
Ah.
now I know where one of them is. The other two, no idea. I think they went for. I think they went into Germany or something.
Oh, were they Venture?
No. One of them was a another tourister. One of them ended up being one of them was a La Sombra, and so this is it was a good lad. It was a good lad. One of them was a Nosferatu. And we had it rough at the beginning too. You know, you don't just smush a bunch of kindred into you don't just smush a bunch of kindred into a room and say be friends. But we ended up having some nice memories and some bad ones. But that's how it goes, I suppose.
Yeah. That's
Anyways, I've been having some extraordinarily rude manners. You brought this entire bottle for me, sipped the glass even, and I have yet to try it. Cheers.
cheers.
Clank.
So when do we detonate the manure bomb?
How much plot power do you have? I'm counting 5% with 4 people. Later, as sort of talking goes on, there comes a moment, Chablana, when somebody sort of taps you on the not soldier, on the you on the shoulder, and as you turn around, it's Katerina.
Yeah.
So, I'm bored. You bored?
Not quite, but
Oh,
what, what is on your mind?
Well, I'm looking around the room and don't fancy anybody, so I thought, why not get to know each other a bit more and stuff and dance? I mean, everybody else is doing it, so why not?
Well, I suppose. I suppose that no, it wouldn't hurt.
Just
I
to
haven't
know,
danced in quite some time, so forgive me if
I've
I'm rusty.
I I've only danced once, long, long ago, because somebody politely asked to. So trust me, I'm not rusty. I am going to embarrass myself heavily, if that's okay with you.
Well, at least everyone will know us afterwards.
Having some eyes on us wouldn't be a bad thing now, would it? She sort of extends her arm, shall we?
Of course.
So it drags you. Also, I've been asked a little bit around. There's supposed to be a lead usually. Do you mind doing that? I'm not really good at that.
So I could repeat it. The
Just
car in the back.
Just remember, elegance is not about being noticed, it's about being
About being
remembered.
remembered.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, because this could go either way, roll dexterity performance. You'll be leading. It's an assisted role, but she's she doesn't have performance. That's what I'm gonna say. But
Just I
she's
want
talented.
you to remind you, I think, of how we rolled it at least half of the time. If the roll on the assist goes into the negatives, then it's 1-for-1 on how it
Mhm.
affects the main roll.
Oof.
Do you have
Uh,
performance?
yeah, I do have performance.
You don't get a +1 difficulty then.
It's +2 for skills.
Okay.
No, it's isn't it +1 for skill, +2 for knowledges?
No, we just +2 for knowledge is when we're being generous.
I
It
could
might
have
be
sworn
different
it
in Dark Ages, but in
I thought in
20th,
I think in Modern Knights it was just +1 for like skills.
was
That's
it?
what I thought.
Yeah, skills is +1.
Oh, then I'm wrong. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Any rolls to attempt an action without the necessary skill have their difficulty increased by 1. Found it.
And here I was
Uh,
hoping we would finally have a spectacle worthy of the night. God damn it. Good luck.
Alright.
You can still fuck it up, I believe.
Okay. At a difficulty of 7, and no performance, but God bless dexterity, 5 successes on the assist. Fuck me. So translated, I think that's 2 degrees of extra success, right? It's like 2, then 4, then 6. Yeah. Okay. That's a total of actually 6 successes. Good job, guys.
This is
You
disgusting. I hate this system.
you you end up going, in, and she sort of looks around, copies the rest, and it's like, okay, so that's how you do it. And you sort of lead, and you quickly get your rust off, essentially, and a very nice, elegant dance actually goes through. You could swear you're almost even better than Francis was when he presented, but that just probably just nah. Uh, and as the dance sort of goes along, she talks, wow, this is going much more smoothly than I thought.
Yeah.
This, I don't know. I had a little bit of a scare factor, thinking I might embarrass myself in front of all these Toreador. No, actually, it's thank you.
No problem. Seems I was less rusty than I thought.
So, well, um, small talk, small talk, small talk. So, how did you come back to your grandsire? I mean, not many people do that.
Well, I simply got an offer from her that I couldn't really refuse. Would greatly help me increase my knowledge. I don't want to go too much into details.
I, nah,
But essentially the idea is that I get to pick up important knowledge along the way as I work for her.
impressive. Huh. Yeah, when it was with me, I was kind of picked out actually. Um, so I had that going on me. There was like me and two of my other sisters essentially, not real sisters, but kindred clan, kindred sisters, however you want to. Uh, then she just went, I want that one, and here I am.
Out of character. It's just like, picking up puppies from like an animal shelter. Just
Yeah.
goes in and oh, okay. I like how this one looks. Picks it up and takes it home.
Yeah, but I've been having a good time. I mean, I've been seeing and hearing everything, and well, I'm left to my own devices when doing things, so I have that going for me.
Yeah, she's generous in having others to pursue their own agendas. But tell me, do you know where the others went?
Um, well, I had to keep a track of them a while ago, and when I mean a while, I mean decades ago, but not anymore. Uh, Either lost interest or whatever, just said don't. So, no. I mean, knowing how some people are, they've stayed in some of the cities, but I doubt that. I mean, this might just be me, but, well, when you either stay in one place and send somebody out to get what you need, or you yourself go where you need. You know, when like one of those traveling monks and priests that go around spreading the good word. So I think they're in that boat because she's definitely in the former boat.
I see.
But yeah, you know, you know your clan more than I do. Hmm. Uh, I'm not really good with the small talk.
Well,
You,
just tell me what you're good at. I presume it's like a bodyguard. You have a specialized weapon or something like that.
oh yeah, that I can go on days about. Um, well, you mean I don't have to tell you much of this? I think you're well knowledgeable about my clan, or bloodline rather, however you want to see it. I was I don't even remember how long that ago it was, but I was just a wee lass with nothing to do, picked up, and I'm sorry, I have to go out of character. How many fucking memes of skeletons are you gonna put out in here?
You're
As
pretty
many
good
as we
though.
can find that don't suck.
I can't even read them because I have to do this. And got picked up one day by my sire. Went through some hellish training, like Spartan-like. There was a point where it was like, oh, and I remember this fondly. Cliff, maybe about 50 feet up, maybe more. And it's a very reassuring sign when your sire just says, proceed to jump. And you jump. And you proceed to break some bones here and there. Some of the lucky ones had a better landing. But you get used to the pain. Then, weirdly enough, you start even, like, I'm not sure if this is just me or some of the rest. You start even liking it a little
She
bit.
wants the
Just a,
bone.
just a little bit. But, yeah, and I was trained to be a warrior first. So hitting some, just punching somebody, slicing their throat. I'm good at that. I don't think I should be proud of being good at that, but I am. I'm good at it.
All right. No, just tell me that's something. I don't think any any hard-earned skill is really something to scoff at, no matter what it is.
Mm. Yeah, I remember you saying a while before that everybody's a little bit special and unique, but don't know about you. I've seen my fair share of people. Some are just entirely out of the middle. I mean, yeah, people are different. People are things, but one farmer is the same as the next farmer sometimes. They know one thing and that thing only. Not
What an
to offend them for any reason, but some people are just constantly the same.
What's
Oh.
with your new friend, Radomir?
Well, she's apparently really talkative, but that's fine. So such people tend to draw attention away from me, which is probably
Yeah,
not the worst. But when talking about
there, there comes a
mhm.
point where saying that and sort of notifying and keeping an eye out. There just seem to be some eyes on you. It's not every day you see somebody of Gland Cappadocian just do some minor dancing and actually be pretty decent at it actually. Well, not decent, pretty fucking good at it. Um, so there are some attention on you, and you do actually even have a little bit of a dancing space essentially as this sort of goes on. We're not sure how much prying ears exist here and there, but you do have some attention on you. She sort of looks down. It's like, I should do something more feminine for once. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Might even practice at home.
Radomir seducer, it's time.
No, I'm not fucking seducing her.
Come
Guys,
on, she's asking for it.
There's a D&D rule which states no romance until level 10. Luckily, you're all above 100 XP.
Please.
And in general, that keeps on going for a while, and there's some nice talk essentially.
Good.
Francis, for you, sort of resting around, there comes a moment where Margaret approaches you. Sort of comes up and says, "Do you mind if we go in one of the private rooms?"
Not without witnesses, not unless you put dots into melee.
Francis?
Oh, sorry, I must not
You get skeleton meme?
name. No, I didn't hear my name at the beginning of the sentence.
Wasn't it Margaret? What the fuck
Yeah,
did he do?
sure, we can have a
She
talk in a room that's close to people that can hear me scream. I don't say it like that.
right. She turns around and leads you to eventually a room that is empty. You go in. It's nothing too special. There seems to be some minor decorations. It's maybe about a 5x5 room. I want to say. I think that is big enough for a small, essentially talking room. Stone walls. Definitely a little bit of a sturdy or a little bit of a thicker door. table, some very normal chair things. She sits down, sort of motions for you to sit.
Sure, I'll sit.
So I'm gonna drop the niceties for a bit, I suppose. What? What the fuck? What happened over in there? I I know you showed the gangrel and things, but look, if you have enough courage to step on me and trample me or whoever I am, why are you scared of them? And how did that make you just drop off? I'm just
You're not aware that they tried to kill a Malkavian in the service of the crown just a couple of nights ago.
I didn't know that. All right, that is a little bit more legitimacy.
This is gonna turn on a hit on the entire Gangrel clan with these just two dumb fuck boys. Its blood is gonna flow through the streets before we're done at this rate.
Yeah, how the Toreador started a war with the Gangrel over a fucking Malkavian. They don't even know why they started this war at this point.
I'm just glad that the queen wasn't in there because I think she was expecting a lot more. Now, I severely doubt you'd be the one for this, but we've had our disagreements, and I assure you, I mean, you've treated me like such, so we're going to continue having such disagreements. And I want to be open with you about that because I want you to know about that.
Competition breeds excellence.
Sure, competition does. But I think, Francis, that for as beautiful as you are, and I will say that because you are, you're just a little bit sadistic.
You know,
Perhaps.
if I wanted to hurt you, I would have said a little bit stupid.
So, we're done with this whole charade. The night's going on. We don't have to dance, nor would I want to. But I want to be just open with you, out of prying ears, prying eyes, whatever, that, well, I'm going to find a way that makes you show a little bit of embarrassment in front of the others as well. Just like you did to me.
In the spirit of Clan Gangrel and what they do.
I told what you did to the queen. I'm going to tell you that because I know that you're also not that much of an idiot for some things.
Already know.
So, but she won't care what happens after this. What I am going to say, though, is people have seen us, and this whole festival thing party, as we've been told, is going to go for a while. So, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to be forced to work again. So, we'll have opportunities to play.
That is certainly true, as long as it doesn't besmirch the reputation of the clan.
Oh, please. You're saying don't besmirch the clan, yet you besmirched me. Another tort. Doesn't make a lot.
Private, Lady Margaret.
So that's how we're going to go about it. All right. All right.
Just tell her she's no true Toreador and start screaming for help.
In that case, I'll be taking my leave, Sir Francis.
I nod at her.
She nods back, and don't have to tell you that there was a hint of hostility there. As she sort of leaves, and definitely leaves first, opens the door herself, doesn't give a fuck, goes through, and you sort of stay there, like, a second before. She doesn't even let you leave, essentially, before leaving.
Oh, I stay seated until she's gone.
All right. But yeah, just to let that out there. Now, last person before we get a little bit spicy. Domino.
Mm-hmm.
There comes a point where sort of a very beefy guy has a shaved head, one very long sort of tattoo goes around one of his sides, essentially. Sits opposite of you one day. Your newly found friend looks sort of like smiles, like, "Oh, this is gonna be interesting."
Evening.
Sits across, says something in Scandinavian or Norse rather.
Can you speak civilized?
And it goes back to French. I can't hurt you here. And I won't. You're not worth it. There's something I can do. Just to make myself feel better, little ginger boy. And he puts an arm out, essentially.
Lomao.
I'm gonna blood buff to 7.
All right. Let's go. Let's go, fuck boy.
Is this straight up strength or?
I'm going to say that it's going to be a strength athletics roll, I think.
Fair enough.
Just difficulty difficulty 6.
Okay.
Right.
That is absolute shit.
Yep, let me. It goes first sort of seconds of going, like his hand significantly better than you, but you put up a slight resistance, and then he sort of stands, sort of smirches, boom, plants you down, essentially. Again.
Before doing that, I'm gonna call out to the other ones. Hey, if you want a turn after this, I'm game. Line up.
Some of them just go like, sort of show you yes, essentially, and some profanities plus body language that you're well versed with.
Yeah, I'm
seeing.
just give them like, come on, I'm offended.
2 of them, however, come up, sort of waiting like behind, just looking. It's like, fuck you.
Okay.
And
for the second one, that would have decayed to 6, because I'm past my max buffage.
Yeah.
So okay. I have powerful arms.
That you do. Next time, something. It's like, you're all right. Posture again. Put there. Things. Some resistance. He sort of smirks again, sort of like things. It's like, tries to pull you. Sort of eyes widen a bit. It's like, no.
Something's wrong.
And
Like
then,
how?
and then just sudden slam on the other side. And it's like, and then the others are like, one of them is like, oh shit. The other one's weak. Come on, get up, my thin weakling.
Ah, tiebreaker. Best out of 3.
All right. Hand back. Now actually it's not sweaty, but it's definitely a bit more ready. It's not like he's playing with you. He's like, okay, son of a bitch.
Oh my god.
I'm a longbow man, cunt.
Same procedure. This time he's fighting. He's resisting, and you're the one who gives him the grin. Now he's
You're
looking,
just
and
like-
he's like,
Slowly, if possible, it's like,
yeah, slowly, and he's like, don't. Fuck. As fuck, he lets go of your hand, just pounds really hard. Actually, takes a little bit of the wooding, fucks, and your friend over there just gives him a smish, like taps you on the shoulder. That'll show him. The next one comes around, burly man this time. You've dishonored Gangrel once again. I will
it
not
was
let you.
an honest contest. What are you talking about? It's not my fault if you are weak.
Oh, what did he take? Jesus Christ.
They're practically asking for it. What are you? I mean, Kraft, I'm not to blame. I was provoked into insulting them.
Oh my god.
Places his hand. He's ready. The hand isn't as big, but you can definitely see that his muscle orientation is a little bit different. He still seems bulky as fuck.
Hmm.
Puts there.
Yep.
Okay. So obviously, going through the same procedure of blood buffing and making sure the difficulty goes up. That is an 8 success difference. So, I think how I'm gonna do this
Mm-hmm.
is half the successes, and then strength plus that. So strength plus 3, okay, which would be about. No worries about on that front. He takes your arm, you take it, and on the count of 1, 2, 3, the moment the last E finishes, just boom. Not even a millisecond, but that's not even the worst thing. He slams, lifts down, press, and you're able. And luckily, there seems to be something a little bit wrong, but it pulls you and almost like moves your arm in a very weird and awkward position. And you realize that if it was any worse, that could have been he might have went for the broken bone. Plants down. Now you got, weakling.
Okay, I think you might be unaware of the rules of Elysium, but the point is not to inflict actual damage, but embarrassment.
Oh, I thought this was just a friendly competition between two people. Done here. What do you want to go for now?
Put my hand up. Okay. If that's how it's gonna be, that's perfectly fine. You want to play dirty? We can play dirty. I want to inflict a dementation 2 on this cunt.
Go for it.
What's the fucking roll for this?
Let me find Dementation 2 because no, that was Dementation 1 that was changed.
Using disciplines in Elysium.
I'm pretty sure they're using potents for this, so fuck him.
Potents can't be detected though.
Dementation can't either, it's super subtle.
It's manipulation, empathy against the difficulty of the target's road score. Each success extends the duration of the inflamed humor. Do we want to go with the humor? Fuck it, let's go with the humor. So essentially, you can change the humor that they want. The difficulty, roll it at 6 base because it's the difficulty of their roll.
Didn't he want to use?
Oh wait, no.
Two?
Shit, why did I
Yeah.
find 1? My bad. It is manipulation, empathy, difficulty of the victim's perception plus self-control plus instinct. Number of successes determines the length of these visions. Okay,
Yeah, I
So-
want to give him nightmares.
what kind of visions do you want to inflict?
Something hunting him in the woods if possible.
Let's go for a bit more specific. So when he would be in the woods, something would be hunting him.
Yes, exactly.
Go for it. All right. So that would
Depends
put 6.
on how fucky his perception and self-control are.
Don't worry about it. You know, upon touching and things, and during the countdown, you take that quick moment to just be like, influence your little ickies into him and going. And, well, if you hear anything, it'll be from the woods. If you hear anything.
Okay, let's try again.
Mhm.
That would be 5.
Well, that was a 180. 0 successes. So, next come about. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, I want to demonstrate that I'm most definitely not trying to hurt him as I dominate him physically.
All right. There comes a moment. At the sound end of 3, it goes on. But something seems to, he almost, shudders a little bit, real quickly. For some reason. There's a little bit of a something in him. And you take that opportunity, and you take the advantage. You have the grip hold, you have the place, and you're drying him down. He's takes a second to, recuperate, come back. And then when he comes back to his sense, it's already down. It's like,
Best out of 3.
I've lost my pride today. I'm not going to lose it twice.
Jesus Christ.
The other one standing behind him just looks and goes like,
Oh, I'm not burning through a lot of blood. I can maintain strength buff to 6 for scene.
yeah.
So,
And he looks at the other one. This one seems a bit more taller, but not as lanky. It's like he sort of nods at you. It's like, you've won this day. I'm not going to be the lower of the two. I'll keep my pride. And he goes back and sits. Your sort of cool eye comes back. It's like, well, I've seen a lot of crazies my day, but you're crazily strong. That's what I'll say.
it's the practice with the bow.
Yeah, you said something about that. Oh, you one of those I've heard about this before. Actually, are you one of those people that can shoot through 12 axes?
Only if there's no wind, and I get lucky.
So you've done it before.
Like, twice maybe.
Nice. And the trades go on. There's still some glance around you, but once again, the Malakavian is, to some extent, his dominance.
I want to just throw a quick glancing conclusion. Do the Bruja approve?
We're gonna get a clan status of fucking Bruja or Gangrel now.
For that, give me a charisma intimidation roll.
Oh my god.
To look, I'll spend a willpower to look good while flexing on the gangrels.
Roll at a difficulty, let's say 6. So, unbeknownst to you, even though there are a few tables away, sort of focused on that and doing things, there's a squad of 5 Bruja just going, and one of them goes up. So, nice arms.
Just flex a little. Yeah, you should see me shoot the bow.
Similar step. Told you English longbow. Wait a second, are English longbowmen a thing yet? This is so early.
I think they're Welsh at this point.
Yeah, because I try to think Agincourt, but Agincourt happens
It's like 3 centuries later.
later. And it's like, I told you the English had it. I told you the English, them up there had something in it for the bows.
Please, I'm Irish.
Irish. But you folk have something for the bow. Sort of gives you a handshake. If you need, if you want, you could show some of our boys something in the future. If you
Yeah,
want.
sure, happy to.
All right. Fuck it. That was a good set, a good display. Sure. Add upon there one dot of clan status Bruja. I'm not gonna cuck you out of 6 successes and display of display of might.
You can see why the gangrels still hate me. I don't provoke these confrontations, but I milk them for all the hatred they're worth.
Now, as the night goes on, it maybe ends up being around 2:30.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna go home. I am home. Anyways, at one point of the evening, the prince eventually gets up. Essentially, nobody has been interacting with some of the queens, and some of the rosettes have been sort of sitting guard, not really fully interacting with people, just mostly looking good. But there will be a time where the prince essentially gets up and leaves. And maybe about 15 minutes after that, there ends up being questions thrown here and there. Mostly specifically towards you, Francis.
Fuck.
One person comes up sort of in the middle of the night and she'll just ask you, sort of bows. If I may ask a question, if you've been vigilant enough, have you seen my child anywhere? I've left him for 5-10 minutes and already out of my sight. A bit longer hair, oval face, very distinct blue eyes.
Do you remember the clan of the guy that's talking to me?
There's a lot of people here, and some time has passed. Give me just a intelligence alertness roll.
Of course
Yeah, you
someone
remember.
gets killed.
Yeah, you remember. Clan Benshrew.
Okay, do I remember him coming with a child?
Yeah, they were both. I'd say with 3 successes. You definitely remember. You definitely remember there's a child and blah blah. There's a lot of people though, but you remember the individual, trying to keep track of people and stuff. And yes, you do remember. There was a child. But you haven't specifically seen where that child might have gone. You just know that they were presumably present.
Oh, they're in the room right now.
In like one of the private rooms.
No, in the big room. Probably not, right?
You look around extra, don't see anybody.
Well, I'll tell the Ventrue that I'll see about his child are getting found.
Thank you. Maybe about 10 minutes pass, and another peculiar interest comes up over you. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna go with the intelligence and alertness roll that you've memorized a good chunk of people for the night, essentially. A humble Nosferatu comes over, cloaked and things, and sort of bows. If I may ask a question, I know it may be difficult to make this quite distinct outlooks of who is who, but have you seen my fellow Nosferatu recently? He's has a large hunch on his back.
Wipes mouth. No.
Ooh. At this point, I'll just get together with my colleagues if it's possible.
Go for it.
Ask them if they have seen either of them, and like alert them to the missing of some of the guests.
Right.
About a third of the party who have aspects on just collectively look at you like, oh shit!
And you can go in a private room.
If you want. There's enough private rooms. The one quite close to the door are obviously occupied, so you have to walk a little bit further, but in secrecy, you're able to find a room. But to note for everybody, you haven't seen them.
Okay, I'll tell them that Ventrue and Nosferatu came up to me and reported missing clanmates. In the case of the Ventrue, a child.
Does anyone look particularly guilty when he says this?
You can roll a perception empathy roll. And if anybody did, for any reason, write to me a private message on how they want to eat somebody, please roll manipulation subterfuge.
Oh shit.
Actually, no.
Yeah, well, if you hear anything,
Yeah.
just...
The killer is in this castle. It's one of us.
Yeah, but just be careful, and if you hear anything or see anything, alert me. And I guess next I would have to tell Margaret and the other two.
Yeah,
Thanks.
as you return, come back, there's Margaret actually is looking for you, and as you sort of meet your eyes, she approaches you. I think somebody's gone missing.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure if you've seen them.
Clan?
La Sombra.
We also have a missing Nosferatu and a missing Ventrue.
That sounds like a problem. I'm not sure. They might have just wandered off and nobody's seen them, but we should report this. Yeah?
Yes,
You should
immediately.
kill the ones who reported this and hope they haven't told anyone else yet. It's the only way to cover your tracks, Nyaxi. Being the first one to start investigating was a good start, but you need to eliminate the witnesses.
Now the question is, who would you report it to? There's a plethora of people, but it's up to you who do you want to like
Summon the
look for.
prince.
And the prince left.
You have presents for pitch.
I'm not gonna use that on a fucking elder! To a sheriff or one of the queens.
The gap is... Huh. No, he's just high enough above you that he can just auto-succeed on resisting it, but anyone else you can summon.
The sheriff is there, sort of just overlooking, the stuff. Sort of question is though, I will reveal this because they exist and you would have saw them. There is one more sheriff that is present. Sort of this sort of noble guy, and he seems to be talking to some of his clan mates seated over there, toward Venture and blah blah. But you have, the big sheriff that is sort of grumpily, just like sort of leaning back, sort of just enjoying the view, looking around for the time being. So if you're looking for a sheriff, which one would you like to go to?
The same rank, right?
Presumably, yeah.
Be
Sheriff for
just
sheriff.
great.
The more noble looking one.
All right. You approach, and the other adventurer sort of look behind, and he turns around and he just replies, "Can I help you?"
We have a matter of some urgency to discuss.
Very well. Is this for a private matter or?
And it probably has to be private, yeah.
Very well. Sure. Let's go into one of those private rooms then. And you go forward, find one. Go back into your one because it was available still, and close the door. It's like, so, what's this privacy about?
At least 3 kindred have reported fellow clan members missing.
Missing.
He was like, what the fuck is it now? It suddenly turns to, oh shit.
You sure they haven't just, gone off or somewhere deeper into the castle?
Well, at the first one I obviously thought that would be the case, but after 3 it's a concerning pattern that's emerging.
That's a fair point. Who are these individuals, if you know?
I tell him. And well, Margaret has to tell him which Lasombra exactly.
This happens every time the prince rises from his torpor to attend a party once a decade.
Huh. All right. Sir Francis, since I have heard about you, and that you can be trusted at least, I'll see about summoning some of the. I'll talk about to the other sheriff, Mejdis, see about getting some people. Do you have anybody trusted that can go around seeing for some stuff as well?
We could always ask the servants to look, just in case at least one of them has might have wandered off.
That was the plan. And you mentioned this Margaret. Take her, and well, you don't have any duties essentially in here, I believe. I myself will provide the permission and explanation. You may use auspex and go around looking. Find these
Very
people.
well.
What do you mean I wasn't supposed to before?
No, that's...
Just to keep that on track. And for servants, please look for the ones that are actually ghouls.
Of course.
Right?
It's such
Yeah,
a shame. We
please.
found the killer, but unfortunately Margaret fell into battle.
He goes and starts talking to some others, and you can notice some people are taking action, and some people are going around. So, what would you like to do then?
I guess I'll team up with Margaret, get some of the ghouls looking for people, and then perhaps look around ourselves.
All right. Give me a perception investigation roll. I think this would be
Okay.
at and yeah, Auspex. would help, so you can roll it at a 4. And since Margaret is assisting, I'll roll for her. Actually, sorry. I technically should have asked before I gave it to you at a 4. And do you have investigation?
Yes, obviously.
Okay, good to know. Right. So that's going to be 4 successes total. So eventually, though, by asking and a little bit of helps from various ghouls and Margaret and things, you know, opening some doors here and there that are available. Margaret's sort of going a little bit behind you, like this one other hallway, and you put your handle on one of the doors, and your spine shivers as if Auspix ringed you.
I'll take a step back, I suppose.
You take a step back. You wait a bit. Nothing occurs.
I'll open the door.
Goodbye. Fun
Go
knowing
for
you.
You go for it again, and you still get that shiver down, but you push through it and open the door, and it's dark inside. But with the help of Auspix and now the light coming in, you open up to see a room filled with chairs. It seems to be a chair storage room with a little bit of issues in it.
What's in it?
You look down, and you even, as the door sort of pushes open, it sort of drags with it a little bit. Ash. You look, as you raise your sort of head to look more into the room, there's more ash. A lot more.
I speak up and say like, Lady Margaret, I'm afraid I found our missing guests.
Margaret starts rushing through, and as you look back in, a sight catches you, and that's actually on the walls, the stone walls. There's not just ash in here. There's words, a lot of them, placed, scattered all over the wall, almost nonchalantly. But you can see that there's a little bit of a structure to them. Different languages, some that you recognize. What languages do you speak?
French, probably. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
have Latin.
Fair enough. I gave you the ability to speak French and then plus 1 more, unless you pick up the merits and stuff, just to sort of bilingualize you. But whatever you pick up later on, you see a writing in French. You see things. Now, besides what the content says, what catches you out first is obviously the smell and the sight. Besides seeing and smelling ash in this room, what's written is blood. It's a little bit draining, but I can see that it was smidged upon onto the wall. Blood. Some of that little bit still draining down, just a little tickle of it before drying out. And even though the entire room is almost filled with all of these sayings and words in different languages, what you can read out in French, three different things that you can sort of pick up around. Those words being, let me find them. One of them you recognize as, or translate roughly to, we know. You look to the right wall, and it says, we suffer. And on the middle wall, right above the chairs, essentially, you can make out the words, we fight. As Margaret comes up.
I'll step out of the room, and Margaret probably also will do that. I'll use summon to get one of the ghoul servants here, so I can send them off to get the sheriff.
Yeah. As Margaret sort of looks up, she sort of gasps and is like, "What the hell happened here?" Sort of looks at you, but there's also a little bit of I presume, a little bit of a surprise on your face as well.
Yeah.
You I'm not gonna say that you summon, and a ghoul comes pretty quickly, not entering, sort of coming over to bow as he looks up and is horrified as what he sees as well. You send him off to the sheriff.
We are so fucked, arm upon silver.
The sheriff comes over eventually, leading some other kindred and some of the ghouls, and it's like, comes out. Francis, what have you found? And he has, sort of steps in and looks in. It's like, it's this. All right, everybody, go to your positions. Look for anybody suspicious. Who has auspex? Use it. Look for whoever has fucking black streaks. You have them, apprehend them the fuck now or kill them. Go, go, go.
Black streaks? Really?
Let's go.
Well, surely
Really?
chemistry can't fake auras, right?
And
You only have to be Gen 7 to fake auras. No problem.
Yeah, that's like a super high-end obfuscate power, and it's
Technically, there's
self-targeted.
also a combination discipline if you are a vicissitude user. It just
And
doesn't last as
But
long.
you need to get someone alone for that, so that's a little less bad.
he sort of like, after sending people out, sort of just looks back to you, looks to the walls. You know, we fight, we suffer. What the fuck is this? Jesus. He looks at the ash piles. I've seen my, I know what ash a vampire can make, so I'm gonna go and say there's about 6 of them here. Maybe 7 if it's, Jesus.
Wait, so it was La Sombra, Nosferatu, and Ventru.
Ventru,
That's 3.
that we know of.
So all the people that should have formed the Camarilla. Someone started the war early. We're hunting a Malkavian.
All right. I'm gonna have to talk about the Prince about this. This is something that needs even his attention. You two, whatever you saw here, don't spread panic. They probably know that we know. The less random neonates know, the better.
Of course.
If you can delay it as much as possible, this is going to go out. I don't doubt it. So Francis, fuck.
Such a
All right, you're going to be. Are any of you particularly good at auspex?
Well, I'm decent at it.
You, Margaret? I'm decent.
I mean, what else is she gonna say in a situation like this?
I need you, since we need to find out who the fuck did this as soon as possible. You take that wall, you take this wall, I'll take this one. Can you look into the past with auspex?
Yeah, I can use Spirit's Touch. Or whatever it's called in the Dark Ages.
All right. Put your hands out and roll for it. Roll it at a base difficulty, and I'll do some as well.
It doesn't have a base difficulty. The difficulty with tips is whatever you say.
It
Yeah, so when I say base
depends on
difficulty, I mean 6.
recency and strength of emotions usually.
Yeah, but I know, and there's definitely emotions. But roll me at 6. This is to see how much can get. All right. Give me just 1 second, please. All right. As you go for one of the blood and sort of put your, two fingers essentially on it, and you use spirit touch. The first thing you get as you sort of go into for, the soul, the presence, before you go deeper in, you can see that the wall is shining with different emotions. Before that all of a sudden just shrinks down and focuses into the one that you have. Laughter, happiness.
Fuck.
You feel that. You can feel here laughing in the back of your mind as you concentrate. You can see a man. You can see his face. Long hair, decently long hair, a little bit of an oval shape, distinct blue eyes, sort of laughing, having things. And then, almost as if weirdly, just unnaturally in your medicine, just sort of slowly twists his head upside down. Still laughing, still having a joyous time. But how the face looks like, it's in pain, it's suffering, it's no longer being happy.
Shit, this is some exorcist shit right up in here.
And then you have one of the what you can describe as one of the worst sensations. You stop feeling your legs, and it slowly approaches upward, going up your body. As you sort of instinctually start to look down, through his sort of going back into his eyes and lenses, looking down with his upside down face, you can see almost that his legs are disappearing, crumbling, becoming ash, slowly coming up, and you start feeling less and less of your body, and afraid of what to fear if it comes up even further. You exit out.
R//
That's what you
power
get.
washing porn.
Margaret, you come out. The sheriff seems to be focusing and then just going, damn it. Margaret sort of focuses in, comes back, it's a little bit disturbed, and it's like, just shudders a little bit. Not, and then shudders again. Sort of turns to you guys. That was not pleasant. It was not pleasant at all.
Yeah, it was quite horrifying.
What should we do? Sheriff sort of just looks gone and says, come with me. In this case, we're gonna report this to the sheriff. No, fuck. I'm gonna report this to the prince. And, God help us all. And that's where we're going to stop the session for today. Hi! Plot hook episode completed, guys.
Absolutely disgusting. Can I have extra willpower for nature?
Hold up. Bitch ass. One at a time. So, let's go out of character, in character. Starting from left to right. Chris, out of character, how'd you like the session?
You know, I'm glad that you have a plan and are not just, pulling a Kale. So, maybe, just maybe, you might graduate to an actual ST in maybe another dozen sessions or so.
Alright.
In character, why do these gangrel dog boys keep fucking with me? I'm not gonna back down, I'm no one's bitch. Why do they keep coming for me? What the fuck is wrong with them?
Fair enough. Yaxi, out of character, how'd you like the session?
Well, I was wondering when the plot was gonna come into the campaign.
It took him long enough, 5 fucking sessions.
And, in character, Francis, of course, gravely concerned. He's after all vampire of a very noble heritage with quite potent blood.
Fair enough. Craft, you here, bitch ass?
No.
I was 1 second away from going to retinue. Add a character, how'd you like the session?
Well, seeing as my internet has been shit. The session was fine.
Pretty good
And,
overall.
And then
Pretty
character?
good overall. Cake.
That-
Well, Severin is doing pretty happily right now. Nobody's come to complain to him. No motherfuckers are challenging him about his wine taste. Considering it's just ghouls drinking though, for the most part, no ghouls are gonna say shit about my. Pretty happy that my sire is here, I guess.
I guess.
I'll have some fun with him later.
Kinky.
Hold
And,
up! That's illegal in this day and age.
And Mr. Funnybone.
No, it's not. I'm a Toreador. Is it really illegal?
God says so.
Is it really illegal?
Pope says so.
Depends
Is
who
it
you
really illegal?
Depends who you ask.
Don't worry
Funnybone,
about it.
how'd you like this? Funnybone, in out of character, how'd you like the session?
Pretty good overall.
Understandable. And in character, how did Trablana like things going on?
Well, things are a bit slow, but I'm sure her interest will be peaked once they once this escalates, and which I'm sure it will.
Pretty boring party. I'm glad the Malkavian was wrong.
So I mean, I'm gonna take the Dark Heresy approach and just go for it. What do you guys think is going on? Just as a starter, just so we can see how much that changes.
Something powerful wants to destabilize the city for interests of their own. I think they might want to keep the local power structure distracted.
Fair. Craft? Well, actually, Nyaxi, then Craft. Oh, be right back. Fuck. Craft.
Yes.
We were skipping Nyaxi. So,
Wow. You skipped somebody else and not me this time?
Nyaxi said be right back.
Why are you going
Cra-
for Craft? I can't hear him.
Same.
Yeah, fuck you too.
Uh,
Fuck you too.
So, Craft, what do you think is going on?
Well, like people are getting eaten, and they want. I mean, sounds reasonable that it's a distraction, I guess. How the fuck they ate people under the nose? I don't know what the fuck the like security of this party is, but people getting eaten during a party is kind of fucked up, bro.
They're low-level randoms. No one cares.
But are they really randoms?
Probably not, but to the prince, they're like, who is this fucking Savage and why are you even talking to me, bitch? Go away.
Shaking my head.
Fucking
Nexi.
even younger than my grandson. Who the fuck is this?
What do you think is going on, Defagnon?
And first I thought the prince was just going for a snack, but apparently not.
You know how you go for a snack and you just jump down, you realize you're still hungry and you just can't stop yourself until you're stopped?
Man, this quarantine really got me hungry.
God damn it, Demi.
And Funnybone?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but there's it's certain that something's going on. Like look at the like so someone like scribbled in like several different languages on the wall. That means like it's someone educated, I think, and this, also has to be like someone a bit more powerful or like a group, because taking out 3 vampires isn't that easy.
7.
7, oh
7 or 8. That's what you can. I mean, there's
yeah,
Ash.
okay. That's either group or like a powerful vampire or
Serial
a
Diablo
group
with
of powerful
multiple
vampires even.
personalities.
Fair enough.
Just went there, he cast summon 7 times.
I mean, you could if you're good. That's the scary bit.
I mean, still, it's like if you do it in like one night, that's a lot of people killed without resting and stuff.
If there's a
So-
clan that has a native way to do ag, yeah, but so far there isn't from the ones we know.
So, next to stats, XP. Everybody gets 3.
Disgusting, all our lives were in danger.
Deserve more XP.
You know what?
So,
That's fair.
what about the session before? Like where you skipped on us? You should get XP for that too. I was
That
ready.
was the session before last. We skipped 3, not 4.
You know what? That's an entirely fair point. If we're gonna go backwards, then by every known law of mathematics, we go into the negative. So take away 3 XP, guys.
That's not how that works.
I don't
Um,
consent to this
I'm
time
at minus
travel.
3 XP now, like left, since I already spent all mine. What am I gonna do, Demi?
I'm sorry, Kraft. You're just you know what? I think this is how we're gonna do it. Remove 1 dot of intelligence, and how much XP it was worth, you get it back. Just so it's a debt, you know.
But you know, I had 4 base intelligence.
Well, then now you can min-max some more and put it somewhere more profitable.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'll put it in my charisma. Go to 5. Let's go.
But yeah, 3 XP, and anybody got willpower? I think Chris, you can get a willpower back. Yeah, 1
Yeah.
willpower everybody for session. You get 1 willpower, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's with that I? You should be well aware of being called Nya at this point.
Yeah, I just wanted to know why you were saying
Because he's nying.
With any willpower.
I don't think so.
What is your nature?
It just won't have a good time.
I suppose you didn't have a good. Craft?
Nope.
Redimir?
Don't think so.
Fair enough.
I would like to cash in on a promise you made earlier that I would be able to pick up my first thought of politics at this point.
Definitely can.
Then I will buy it.
Anybody else buying something? Or are they saving?
Saving 1 more XP.
Understandable. Craft, you want to finally become a big boy?
What do you mean?
Spend your XP if you want to be a big boy.
Just buy some blood potency, it's always useful.
Yeah, I'm about to spend all my XP on blood potency. Is that okay, Demi?
Sure. Also, because of how things work, everybody's working on V20. You're working on a retarded system. So just note your Yep, I'm gonna get you a new sheet that's by V5 standards. Hope you like it.
Alright,
Also,
thanks.
you get half the
Will you
amount
roll
of
my hunger
XP
die
rounded
too?
down.
What do you mean? Do I roll my hunger die? Of course you do.
Do you roll my hunger die? That's what I said.
Nah. You roll your hunger.
I mean,
It's working
I'm not
to the
supposed to
sheet.
know, though. Come
It-
on, it's not fun if I know how hungry I am.
Yes, Chris, you had a joke that you wanted to put. Give it to the audience. Be
just-
the funny guy for once.
Let me put it this way. What Kraft said was so remarkably stupid, it killed my brain and the joke along with it for a second.
You're welcome.
Fucking blessed. But we will be having a session next time, so campaign's not canceled yet. So this is going to be session 5 or 4 or
This is session 5. I have been counting, and yes, I posted and counted the session that didn't happen.
yeah. There's a lot of ways you can put it down to be 4, or put it at 5, or put it at 4.5.
This is at 5. I left a warning in the comments to punish those who don't read comments and waste half an hour.
Fair enough. Well then, since I'm a head honcho here, let's say goodbye, guys.
I hate how right I was.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.